everybody, what's up? It's me, Gazbot, better known here as the Gazbot Knight, and this is Action Activate. And when it's Action Activate, you know who's with me as always.
The big dog defender.
the slow missing his cue by a few seconds, the Bigdawg Defender. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself? I know you had a more strenuous weekend than I did.
Strenuous, but good strenuous. As for those that don't know,
Yeah.
I was at Morphicon Express in Anaheim, Texas, and yeah, I sleep deprived. And wow, you're getting really close to the camera now, man. I might have to adjust you. That's fine.
No, we're good.
Oh, now you're perfect. Look at you. Look at your lovely, perfect face.
I do what I can.
So, yeah, for those that don't know, well, first of all, what are we doing here? This is our chat show. We talk about the new episodes of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. We go over Ranger news and things like that. And, of course, above me, I am an artist. This is my Power Rangers art. Normally, I have a new piece of art that I'm working on every week, which I do, which I'll talk about in a minute why I'm not putting it up right this second. But, yeah, this weekend was Power Morphicon Express. It was the first time they've done the Express, and it was in Texas. They were supposed to announce the next one, which they have not yet done, unless they did it just a few hours ago and I missed it. Because I can't say what I know because I've talked to people, but
I haven't seen anything thus far
Okay,
as someone not on the inside of
there's
it.
nothing official. I think I know where it will be held, but even I don't know when because they're in talks with the place but haven't finalized the contract, so they're not releasing it. But it will be happening. It was confirmed to me. There's another one coming, but they can't give the details just yet because the contract hasn't been signed. Did I just see a hey guys from somebody? I think somebody just said something in chat, but I missed it. Well, hello to whoever is in chat.
Dolly Girl, hi.
Oh, hey, Dolly Girl. Welcome aboard. Let me restart my Streamlabs thing, actually, because my chat is not working. So, in the meantime, you are in charge of the Twitch there, Mr. Bigdawg Defender.
Got it.
So, I can... well, let me put it this way. Before we get into the episode, before we get into news, let's talk about Morphicon Express. Do you want to just give me a Q&A of anything your burning questions, and I'll see what I could answer?
Sure. One thing I actually, before we jump into that, that I realized is throughout the weekend, I kept texting Gazbot, kind of asking for updates, like, how's the show going, this and that, and he just totally ignored every question. And then yesterday, it dawned on me, I'm like, oh yeah, we have Action Activate on Monday. No wonder he's being so skittish with his answers.
Well, to be fair, there were two reasons. One is that I wanted to talk about it live on the show, but two, I was selling art. I wasn't there as a fan primarily, so I was really, really busy, and so it was hard for me to do anything other than work.
So obviously did a lot of work there. How was this compared to Power Morphicon Anaheim that you went to in August versus this being the Pasadena, Texas Morphicon Express?
From a vendor, from an artist, from a professional point of view, way better.
Okay.
From a fan point of view, probably not as good, but still fun.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is I was busier, I had more fan interactions, I did more networking, I made more money. So from that point of view, it was a much bigger success for me.
Okay.
But at Power Morphicon proper, you were there with me, and it was a little less crazy, so I was able to get away and meet more celebrities and see a panel or two, and there was more going on overall. So, yeah.
Okay. Kind of keeping along the lines of the celebrities and different things that you did in terms of commissions. What were some of the highlights in terms of interactions or pieces of art that you may not have previously done that you had fun doing?
Well, I'll show you an interaction right here. I'm going to go full screen. I'll just let this clip speak for itself.
Oh,
Okay.
hey. Well. Something's a little weird there. I think it's... Is it go? Ready! Wait a minute. Ready! Activate! Wait a minute. Ready! Action! Activate! Perfect.
So what I will say is
hold
on
on.
my end,
Everyone's
I can't hear it.
director.
Oh, I thought you were watching
But
it
I
on
am-
Twitch.
Help me.
I am watching
That's
it. I just
better
can't
than
hear it.
what I
But
would have gotten.
that puts a lot more context than you calling him a maniac on your Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, I did. You kind of called it last week of who I would see. Oh, I got Dolly. Yuta Mochizuki Geki. Yeah, he was there, and so was the actress who played Mei. They were both there. I had met them previously, so it was exciting for me. But having met them previously, it was more exciting to meet Paulie because I had never met him before. And yeah, you totally called it. I did not have a lot of chance for interactions. That was the one like fan moment I allowed myself. And what was going on there, for the viewers at home could hear, but you couldn't. I got the idea in the middle of doing this because I was there. I was like, hey, I'll get a picture with him. And I was like, oh, can I do a video? He's like, yeah, sure, same price, whatever. And I got the idea because for those that don't know, I'm working on an opening for this show. It's going to take me a while because I'm editing it and whatever. But I thought it'd be fun because we're calling it Action Activate. If I got various people to say Action Activate and do whatever they want, like that, this is their henshin, this is their take on it, whatever.
Got it.
And I thought of this as I was walking over to him, having handed someone a camera. So I said, hey, would you mind? You could say Action Activate and do whatever you want. And he's like, sure. And this is what ensued: the poly bulk version of Action Activate that did not go normal and was just funny and awesome. And he was a real nice guy. But here's the thing: he had a package deal so that if you got a photo, or in this case video, it was like you could get a package with an autograph too. And I got the package deal. Let me go to a one shot so I can show you the autograph I got here. It's him and Skull. And if you notice, I had him sign it. Can you see that?
Oh no! Oh wow!
Yeah, it's for you, buddy.
Oh wow! Thanks, man. That's awesome.
No problem. I felt bad you couldn't make it, and I was like, you know what? Can you make? And I was like, can you make it out to the Bigdawg? And he's like, DOG. I'm like, no, DAWG. He's like, all right.
Well, thanks, man. That's so cool.
You're quite welcome. I'll give that to you the next time I see you. We got some chat here also. Matt Kendall-Clare, hello. Hello, hey everyone. I hope I didn't miss the episode review. No, we are actually talking about Power Morphicon Express first, so you did not miss the episode review at all. But thank you for dropping by. So now that that was kind of the big surprise, was that video and the little present for you. But I'll put up a little slideshow. I just got back, so I haven't had time to put anything proper together. But that's him. I didn't take this. Going back to what art I did, here's a Ryu Soul Black I got commissioned to do. But one of the things I got commissioned to do was Pauly Shearer as Hyperforce Yellow on a sketch cover. And after I did that, the person paid me and took it, and they got him to sign it. Then that person texted me photos of him with it. And
nice.
Because he doesn't have an actual helmet, even though he played a ranger character, he had made a box, I assume he made it, maybe somebody else made it. So his box was his helmet. So that was a lot of fun, and he was a fun guy. I had a couple other more casual interactions with, Brandon Mejia, Dino Charge Red, came by, said hi. I talked to him a little bit. I don't know him very well, but a passing acquaintance at this point because I've been to a lot of shows with him. I talked to Michael Coupon, Time Force Blue. I've talked to him similar to Brennan, where I've just been at a few shows, so like he knows who I am. I talked to your favorite ranger, Jason Font.
How was that interaction?
It was fine. He was totally pleasant. I gave him a copy of the art I gave him. So, but I had a lot of quick casual ones. I talked to Steve Cardenas, Rocky, and I gave him headshots of Red, Mighty Morphin, and Blue Zeo, and he gave me. He said that's awesome. Thank you. Bring 2 more, and I'll go back to the one shot. And he took the 2 more that I brought him and signed them for me. And he did blue on red and red on blue, which I thought was very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, everybody was cool. Everybody I gave art was nothing but friendly, but he went like one step above and actually gave me some free signatures, which I thought was unnecessary but very cool. Oops, that's the opening. Awesome. I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back to the show. Sorry about that. Clicked the wrong thing. Let's see. Matt Kendall says that was pretty sweet of you guys to do that for Defender. Yeah, well, he's my partner. He's the bulk to my skull. What can I say?
It's true. As foreshadowing some things that you and I.
Yep.
Yeah. Anywho.
We're working on things. Just there's behind the scenes stuff we're working on. So yeah, I had some fun commissions, and I sold a lot of packs. I sold a lot of Tommy JDF stuff for sure.
Nice. Awesome.
And then behind that, there was a Dino Charge. Brennan sold really well. There was a lot of kids there, and they all loved him. And a lot of Time Force Pink. She was very popular. I mean, everybody was doing well. I did very well, and everybody was saying what a great show, especially Saturday. Now Sunday there were tornado warnings. And so it didn't do quite as well, and a tornado touched down a few miles from where we were. There was a thing where it came through, and it was like, tornado warning, seek shelter. And I turned to the guy next to me who was from Texas. I'm like, is this considered a shelter, this building? He's like, no, a tornado would rip this down. And then I thought, I had already checked out of my Airbnb. I didn't have a car. I'm like, I guess this is my shelter, the building that would get ripped down. But nobody was really panicking, the people that live in Texas. So I'm like, well, if they're not panicking, I'm not going to panic. And it turned out to be fine. It was just basically like a thunderstorm where we were. But that might have affected attendance the second day, which was still good. But the first day was like amazing, like crazy good. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the over-under kind of short version, unless there's any other questions you had about it.
Did you treat yourself to anything? I know every once in a while you usually try to get yourself something from a vendor, whether it's art or a toy or
Um,
whatnot. Did you get anything so far?
I didn't get any toys. There was a lot less toy vendors than at Power Morphicon proper. There were
Okay.
some, and I also had less time to walk around. I got
Mhm.
the video slash signature from Pauly. Um, I did get some art prints, which I don't have handy, but I traded with another artist. So one thing, if you're an
Okay.
artist, a lot of times you don't buy from each other necessarily, you just trade. So I did get some art prints because we just traded. I could tell you it
Mhm.
was from the Immortal Red Fox is who I got them from. I don't have them handy, but it's
Okay.
they're based out of Texas, but they're doing a comic, a Sentai comic called the Immortal Red Fox, and they're also doing a YouTube series. So you could check those out. I don't have a link handy or anything, but
Hmm.
that's what that is. And he was a really cool guy. I talked to him. Everybody I talked to was cool. I actually got put right
Awesome.
next to Matt Frank. He was like my table
Oh.
mate. So me and him chatted a whole bunch. That was really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of my wrap up. I'm actually probably gonna do a YouTube video that'll be more like a full thing edited. So if people care, they can
Hmm.
check that out for more details. And there's also a few other things I got that I'll tell the big dog off the air, but they might relate to openings and other things we're doing behind the scenes for future episodes that I don't want to spoil. But
Gotcha.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
All right, so let me.
Um,
Yeah.
One thing I was gonna say, speaking of YouTube, thanks to everybody who had commented last week. We had mentioned on the show last week some things about Lost Galaxy plot points, and
Oh, right.
people were just giving their feedback and kind of correcting us on some of the things we had a little bit wrong. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. Check the last week's video in the comments. I know a lot of people kind of put their take on it, and honestly, A, I don't remember all of it verbatim, and B, I wouldn't do it justice kind of regurgitating it.
Yeah, it's
They
worth saying.
said it pretty eloquently.
Agreed. I could sum it up like this: I was a little wrong, Big Dog was a little wrong, and the comments told us where we were wrong. But yeah,
So much appreciated to
we
those
are
folks.
humans. We have flawed memories. We are not perfect, so we will often say things incorrect. Never feel bad about correcting us. It will not hurt our
Hmm.
feelings.
Yeah, if anything, I'm like, yes, now I know. Okay.
True.
Yeah.
So I see we have some people lurking. I'm not going to call you up by name, but hello to our lurkers, and thank you for checking us out. All right, so let me go before we get into the episode. One other thing, I'm going to put up. Oh, I almost forgot. Another interaction I had, a big interaction I had at Power Morphicon, was with an actor who's, oh man, his name is Steve, and I get his last name wrong. Wait, I had a note for myself because I'm so, as we all know, I'm bad with names, but I'd never met him before. Steve Ab oh, what a murderer I am of
Is it
words.
Megaforce Green?
No, it's the guy who played Baboo, the suit actor who played
Oh, yeah,
Baboo.
yeah. Okay.
But this was his second show ever. And it's Steve A. It's not who you're thinking of, Jason Ybarra.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Ybarra played Baboo in one episode. He played him in Power Rangers in Space when he came back. This was the
Okay.
guy that played him in all of season 2 and 3. But
Okay.
that's kind of all he did, and he didn't pursue acting, and he moved on and whatever. But now he's like, oh, there's conventions, maybe I'll come back, maybe people care, and they did. And he's a really funny, nice guy. He was sitting, it was me and Matt Frank, and he was sitting next to us because it was like a last minute addition, so they put him with the artists instead of with the actors, which was awesome
Mm-hmm.
because I got to hear lots of behind the scenes stuff. He had a photo album of like set photos and stuff. It was really, really
Nice.
cool. Very nice guy. And so what I decided to do for my art this week, I did it on my iPad on the plane ride home, is a Baboo. So here's Baboo
Okay.
above me. But the problem is, usually I play these videos and they last the hour or so, but the way Procreate works, it cuts everything out. So this is like an hour or two of drawing that's cut down to about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my new art for the episode, but it's just going to loop and loop and loop. So unfortunately, I don't have anything great there, but that's why I did Baboo, because I had him on the mind, obviously. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, so moving on from that, I did want. Do you have any news you want to talk about before we get into the review?
For Power Rangers Battle for the Grid,
Mm.
a couple more Rangers were announced. I don't remember all three, but
Sorry,
the one that
Steve Adreno is Babu's name. Adreno. Sorry.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
awesome. I'm blanking on one of them, but I know Cenozoic era, I think is how they're labeling it, Blue Ranger,
Mhm.
which essentially is the Lionsgate movie version of Blue Ranger.
Oh, okay.
So with them kind of including these slightly different name, which is fine. Maybe they're. I actually, now that I think about it, I think the color scheme was a bit different, so it was like the million-year-old Rangers that were in it, which is kind of
Right.
cool.
I wonder if they decided to do that and so that people didn't keep calling it the Lionsgate Rangers, especially if they're going to go with a different studio for future
Either
movies.
that or like movie Rangers, and then if they
Right.
reboot or rebrand.
Right. Yeah.
So I like them still keeping it and not just kind of brushing it under the rug. Because I personally really like those designs. And then
I will say this:
the
I'm not a huge fan of those designs, but I believe in history, and it's part of
mhm,
the history. I don't believe in pretending it doesn't exist. Include everything. It's somebody's favorite, even if it's not mine.
mhm. And then the one that stuck out to me most was uh, Black Dragon Armor Trainee,
Mm,
which was really cool from the comic. And
that
then
sounds awesome.
the third one, which thank you, Matt Kendall Clare, for helping me
Oh
out
yeah.
with, was Udana, Mystic Force White, which was, if I'm being totally honest, I don't prefer her because I got very tilted playing against her for a long period of time in the Legacy Wars game, the mobile game. So if she's not included, that's fine. But obviously she's in there and it'll be cool. But for me personally, I just get a little knee jerk reaction whenever I see her. But that's the only real news I can find.
Okay. I didn't have any news,
Yeah.
but if that's all you have, I did want to talk about the toys again.
Ooh,
Some
yes.
people were still reporting they were having trouble finding toys. I recommend Target. Walmart might not be doing good, but I found everything. I have everything now that I want from Target,
Mm-hmm.
including the Morpher. Sorry for leaning off. Haven't even had time to open it yet, but I just got the Morpher and I got an extra
Oh,
one for the
nice.
Bigdawg. So next, I'll have
Yeah.
that for you as well. We'll be more phenomenal together. I also got
Perfect.
the Zords now, or not the Zords, the Beast Bots. So I got Smash, who I haven't opened yet. Um, I will say this. I have my first negative thing to say about the toys. And
What?
this might, yeah, I know. I got Cruz, who I was excited about.
Mm-hmm.
He's not very good. I'm gonna
In
go to the
what
watch.
way?
Um, he's made Smash is not made to transform. He's just a gorilla figure. Cruz is made to transform into the motorcycle, and he does. And he comes with a little gun that could be like a pipe or whatever. You could use this or not, so that's fine.
Pipe, 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 pipe,
Pipe, pipe,
pipe.
pipe, pipe, pipe. Yeah. The wheel is permanently attached to his hand, which I don't love, but I could deal with if that was the only problem.
Mm-hmm.
When you turn, I'm not going to transform him on camera, but when you turn him into the motorcycle, he doesn't really roll, and it's hard to get a figure to sit on him. So he's not a great motorcycle, but he's also not a great robot because he will not stand. He's got all this kibble on the back that's a Transformer's turn, which is fine. I could live with it. But his legs, if
Mm-hmm.
you see, they're hollow and really kind of flimsy. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't see on the camera, but I don't know if you could hear that. This is me trying to stand him. Hear that? That's him.
Yep.
Yeah. And
That's the sound of sadness.
that's the sound of sadness. And the arms go up and down, but then they sort of rotate weirdly, like you can't bend the elbows. And the legs are just, it's very bad. It's the articulation is bad, the balance is bad. I will say, like the head and stuff looks nice, like the paint, it looks
Mm-hmm.
good. So like in the package, it looks good. But my thought was, oh man, he won't stand up as a robot. I guess I'll keep him as a motorcycle. He's a terrible motorcycle too. So he has two modes, neither one is good. So this line in general, I'm very happy with. I do not recommend Cruise. I say don't get Cruise. Try to get a vinyl or spend the extra money and get the Japanese one if you have it. Unfortunately, while I recommend almost every other toy in the line, and I haven't opened Smash yet, but he looks more solid.
Mm-hmm.
Cruise, I like the character, but the toy, so sorry.
Good. Good to know. One
Good to
thing,
know.
also, I know we've talked about toys on the show a decent amount, especially with different Ranger toys.
Sure.
If anybody ever has any questions about the figures or just stuff we have in our own collection, feel free to ask, just because, as you can tell, week after week, we're more than happy to talk about it. But I know it's not a main facet of the show, but
Right.
if it's something you guys are looking for, we'll talk about it. So
Yeah,
just throwing
totally. I
that
mean,
out
this show is for us and for you, so we'll
there.
follow
Mhm.
your lead. The main reason we're talking about Beast Morphers toys is because it falls under news, because it's stuff that's currently
Mhm.
happening. But yeah, if you want to hear about other stuff, feel free. Or any, we say this before, you could do it in the comments on YouTube, or you could do it live here. Ask us whatever, and we'll try to answer it one way or another, or go that direction. But
Yep.
with that, I think we're ready to get into episode 5. What do you say?
Let's do it. So, initial
Yes.
non-grading reaction. What'd you think?
Non-grading reaction. I would say it is an average episode in a good season.
Okay.
What about you?
I think that it definitely had some of the cooler concepts that I've seen in a long time,
Okay.
but it also had some of the more frustrating tropes that I've seen in other seasons, both good and bad.
Okay. Fair enough. We said it differently, but it might come out to be kind of the,
Similar.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's jump in here. Oops, sorry, I gotta get my mouse over there. So the episode is called "Taking Care of Business." And one thing I'll mention, I don't know if other people have had trouble with the Nick app, but I have in the past. But this week it worked perfectly. So I don't know if I figured something out or they figured something out. But
Awesome.
now it worked great for me. So taking care of business, we start off on this car wash. We already know it's going to be a super exciting episode. No, I'm kidding. And then here we see Devin coming in. You notice he's got a Morph X bike, or I believe it's a Morph X bike. Yeah, it is.
I noticed,
so
but it didn't have a canister on it. That was
Right.
the one thing I was looking for.
Isn't that the canister? Like if I point, where is it? Like isn't that the canister right there?
I couldn't see glowing
on.
green when
I
I
can
looked,
zoom in.
but
I'm
I may
zooming
have
in.
just missed it.
Zooming in.
Oh, jeez.
I thought that was the canister. No.
I don't see obnoxiously green glowing there.
All right. Well,
It may be empty.
maybe it wasn't powered up, but I just like and I wasn't even a huge fan of the Morphex bikes, but I like the callback. I like
the
keeping
continuity.
It,
Yep,
yeah, in
I
this
agree.
universe, he should be doing that, so that makes sense. So then we meet what's this guy's name, Sudsy, which is so ridiculous. It's like I was fine with it,
Yeah.
but I feel like what I wanted his dad, the mayor, to say. I wanted him to say, "Hey, son, meet this cartoon character I know," and he's like, "I'm Sudsy. How you doing?" It's just like,
Yeah, it was one of those things like he was named Sudsy, but didn't go far enough, like in terms of serious or totally goofy for my taste. He was like trying to do both. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but regardless, he also kind of reminds me of a comic book artist named Walt Simonson, which I know it's not him, but
Oh,
it's just
kinda.
like if this was like a comic book show shot in America, I'd be like, that must be Walt Simonson. So he shows up and he's like, boom, you've got a job, and Devin's like, what? Another good face moment. And so then his father's like, you got to learn responsibility. The same stuff he's been saying over and over again, which of course we know as a ranger and a member of Grid Battle Force he is, but it's that trope of like the dad doesn't know. And
Yeah.
so I guess, what was the lie he told me? He's like, he's like, what are you busy doing? And he's like,
Video game tournament.
video
Which I was
game
like,
tournament.
that's a choice.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I mean, good thinking of some excuse, but you knew that wasn't gonna fly. So then he agrees to do it for his dad. Then we cut back to evil place. Now I know last week I was corrected about what it is, and it's cyber dimension, virtual dimension, evil. I've decided to not
dimension.
even try to remember because no, is it cyber dimension?
I believe so.
Okay, evil, box of evil is where we are now. Cyber dimension, and we cut back to kind of the standard setup we have now, where we cut to the cyber dimension, and then there is Evox and his minions in this one area, which makes me remember last week when you were saying, boy, aren't they all kind of right in this one small area when they were trying to, when Scrozzle was trying to like speak against them privately, and you were like, doesn't he know they're right there? There's nowhere else in this whole dimension seemingly, and I the comment was good then, but as I went into this episode, I'm like, yeah, Bigdawg's really right. There's like nowhere. There's just this one half a house they all live in.
And then Roxy's just non-existent because we focused too much of her.
I
last
guess
episode.
so. Oh, that reminds me. Real quick, back to Power Morphicon. There was someone who was doing civilian Avatar Roxy cosplay.
Nice.
And I couldn't get a picture with him. I saw him walk by when I was busy, and I was like, I gotta get a picture with her, and I missed it. But whoever you are, if you see this, well done. Okay. Matt Kendall Clare says, I took a quick look at episode 3, and with it powered up, you could see the Morphex on the bike. Okay, so it is a Morphex bike, but it may not.
.1 for the Bigdawg.
No, but it is
0.
okay.
Gazbot Knight.
They may have done the prop improperly, but it clearly says Morphex on the bike. So I think that's a behind the scenes mistake.
So we'll split the difference, and I'll take the slight win.
Okay. So the usual thing, Evox, is like, I need the Morphex and get it for me, and I'm just a demanding person that wants what I want now. And
demanding snake monster that's virtual.
Are you saying that's not a person? Can snake monsters that are virtual not be people now?
Hey, I mean, I'm not one to judge.
Okay. So we see Scrozzle, and he has some plan. What I love about this is they dismiss the plan right away, but it's not like it wasn't generic at all. And this is a small detail, but usually like, I have a plan that will, and someone else, no, listen to my plan. Did you hear what his plan was?
I honestly don't remember because it was dismissed so quickly.
It was dismissed, but it was. I might be getting the quote slightly wrong, but it was like, "I have a plan. We're going to hack into every video camera and security camera in the city." And then they're like, "Anyway, here's the real plan." But like, so he had some kind of plan that sounded terrible. Like, then we'll watch them eat breakfast and make fun. Like, what was the next stage? Like, but that was what he started to say. But I liked the attention to detail that they bothered to give him a plan before they moved on to the real plan. Which and that he gets scared and falls down a lot, as we know. And what then Blaze steps up and do you remember what Blaze said here? What was his hot take on this situation?
I don't remember. So Blaze is in my like bottom 2 characters that I like watching on screen, except when he's morphed.
Gotcha.
So whenever he talks, I like half zone out unintentionally.
That's pretty bad. So we all know your least favorite character is Blue. Is Blaze your second least favorite character?
When he's civilian, I don't love him. Not because the actor's doing bad, just because they're doing a really good job of making me not like him. Mm-hmm. And whereas Roxy, I'm like totally intrigued because she's like really intriguingly evil, where he's like, I'm just kind of a jerk all the time. And I'm going to try to like beat the Rangers, but I'm still a jerk. With the bad guys and the good guys, I'm a jerk all the time.
Consistency is what he's going for.
Yeah, I guess.
Matt Kenneclair is correcting me. I misread his last thing. Sorry about that. With the Morphex powered up, you couldn't see it. I misread it the exact wrong way, so I was right. And they said they saw a picture of the Roxy Avatar cosplayer on the actress's Twitter, and it was pretty good. So yeah, I didn't make it up. Truth in advertising. So Blaze, okay, I don't remember exactly what it says here either, but basically he's like, I have a plan. I know what we're going to do. We're going to cut into the Morphex tanks directly and just get gallons of the stuff.
Yeah, that was a good plan, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I like that a lot of their plans aren't just, let's cause mayhem and draw the Rangers out. Let's just, like, they're actually trying different angles from time to time.
And I like how it's actually escalating in terms of, like effectiveness and raising the stakes organically.
I absolutely agree. So we cut back to Crib Battle Force, and Devin shows up they're get in here right away, and so he runs in wearing his scrubs. I like that he still has a red shirt underneath. I think a lot of the other people had gray, but they still made a point of he's washing stuff up, but he's still red underneath.
You know what bummed me out about him
What's that?
In his uniform for work?
I don't.
Is that they couldn't have worked in a red hat so he looks exactly like Mario.
I feel like they probably didn't do that on purpose. They probably didn't want him to be Mario.
No, I think they should have. They should have owned it because he's pretty much Mario already.
I would have been fine either way, but it would be actually hilarious if he put it on, and they're like, and we're going to need you to grow a mustache. And he's like, Mamma mia! I'm like, why am I talking like this all of a sudden? He shows up to fight.
One thing looking at the screenshot also that I find interesting, speaking of Power Ranger tropes, it was interesting that Blue did not predominantly have something blue on. He had blue coming out, but he had like all white shirt, which like threw me at first. I'm like, what? This isn't computing. You guys are only supposed to wear basic colors to show that you're the Rangers.
That is a very good point, and I wonder if it's because there was so much blue on Devin that they thought it'd be too much blue, but
maybe.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't even notice that, so I just pointed it out. So interesting take there.
Jolly Girl agrees, Mario.
So then we are introduced to another parent. This is the season of parents, and a great explanation for why we have such colorful characters, shall we say, employed, because he is the father of Betty and I'm blanking on his name. Betty and I have it written down because I'm better. Let's see. Betty and Ben. Betty and Ben, everyone. This is their father, who is a general in Grid Battle Force. He's got such a, I always called it paramilitary, but he has got the most military-looking, you know, like medals.
I liked the achievements he had, and the medals. Yeah.
Like Xbox played for 40 hours in a row. And
yeah, he was kind of
thank you, Matt.
Goofy in a way where you're like, this makes sense now.
Yes, because he's goofy, but obviously competent if he's risen through the ranks, and they are goofy and competent, but maybe klutzy, and maybe as they get older. But it also makes sense that they would be given extra chances if their father was this big shot too.
True.
And his voice is nuts. Like I wonder.
Oh, I don't like it at all.
I knew you wouldn't. I wonder if I haven't looked this up, but I wonder if he has been a voice actor on the series, like as a villain or something in the past, because he's just so like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm the father," like, and it just sounds very theatrical and melodramatic. I don't mind it. If he was in every episode, it might get a little tiresome, but as coming in, with his big authority, I'm here to take charge. Like, I don't know. But again, I love Ninjor, so take that as you will.
Matt Kendall Claire's letting us know. You're welcome. I thought Mark Wright did a great job as the general, and yes, he is a voice actor.
Okay, so there you go. So I will tell him if I ever see him that you don't like him, but I did.
It's not that I don't like him. I didn't like his specific voice choice for the episode.
Oh, I disagree. Because again, think about who his kids are. If he came in being totally buttoned up and normal and regular, it would make no sense that his children came out so goofy.
Maybe.
Agree to disagree.
Fair.
So then he
Moving
turns
forward.
Yep. So then he turns and says, "Hey, look at what these guys have," and he's all smiles, and she's already down to business. This is my least favorite part of the episode. I don't know how you feel about this. Not the general, and not that they're the kids. I like that. But when they say we've created this robot dog out of broken tronics. In and of itself, I don't hate it. The fact that they clearly have a Tronics suit actor on all fours with boots on his hands. I know it's Power Rangers, but it was a little goofy to me.
It was a little odd, I agree. The thing that I guess silver lining from it, I liked that they touched upon, hey, there's all this debris all the time.
Agreed.
Can we use any of it?
I absolutely agree.
Which is why when this happened, I'm like, that's really dumb. And then they immediately transitioned. And I'm like, okay, forgotten already.
This was my least favorite part of the episode, but I don't think it was a bad episode overall, and this didn't ruin it for me. But, we talk so much good, I feel it's only fair to point out. Like you just said, you didn't like the general's voice. I didn't like the way they did this. I would have preferred they got like some kind of robot dog prop or a real dog and put like a little helmet on him or something. I couldn't. My brain wouldn't let me see anything but a suit actor with boots on his feet, and it bothered me. But the idea of introducing what are you going to do with all this wreckage, and refuse and rubbish and everything that starts with the R sound, especially from the bigger the Giga drones, especially.
Yes.
Not just hey, how can we use it, but like maybe we shouldn't leave this technology lying around in the world.
Yeah.
I do like that world building a lot. Now, despite the fact that I hated the way they did this dog, we get some more great face acting, attack, and then the dog looks at him. And so I was fine with the way the comedy played out. I just wish they had built the dog in some different way.
I have I guess, thing that I have a theory, but it probably won't happen, but I think it's interesting. So as they just introduced them getting different pieces from Fallen Tronics and Gigadrones and all that, what if as the season progresses, they try to find a way of combining that with their current technology and make the Silver and Gold Rangers that way as like hybrids?
I had similar thought. I had thought similar things. I had also thought that, spoilers if you haven't seen the end of the episode, although you shouldn't be watching this if you haven't seen the episode, that they have still not done the Megazord combination. And I was thinking maybe they find the key to it in this rubbish and stuff. Somebody keeps texting me. Sorry about that. But either way, I had similar thoughts of this will be a logical way they could progress their technology, add new Rangers, combine them, whatever. Let's see. So let's get out of this dog scene. And this is where they say, well, you know what? They do have a point. Regardless of the Tronics, there's all the big stuff. Actually, Matt Kendall Claire, you might remember Mark Wright as the voice of Doomwing, Xenowing's evil half-brother, Supercharged. Oh, that's cool. I do. I didn't know the name, but I do remember that character, obviously. And they think your theory is interesting. I also think it's interesting.
Thank you. I will take that.
So he comes in, he's like, they might be onto something, and everybody immediately jumps aboard. One thing I thought was interesting is that the general here was like, I have a secret bunker in the forest near here. Well, really? Why? Like, what were they using that for? Why is it a secret? Because when they get in there, it's just like a big warehouse. It's not like they got alien tech. So, like, maybe it was made for when they needed a secret project, because now it's being used for that.
I think it's an Easter egg of, at some point, Grid Battle Force is going to be compromised at their HQ, and they're going to have to hide out in that secret forest base.
You know, something else I forgot to check into, and usually I try to be a little more prepared for these shows, but since I was away all weekend and I got in late last night, I had to set everything up like this morning. He mentioned something there that I'm now blanking on the name, but he's like, it's near something, and it was like Kilowog 6 or something like that, which sounded weird to me, and I'm like, is that a reference to the Sentai maybe? Is that like something from the Sentai? So if anybody watching this knows or, you know, has an idea, maybe throw it in the comments either live or if you're watching on YouTube. Obviously, I could look it up, but I haven't had a chance to, and it just it's stuck out as like that seems like a weird thing to say.
Well, I know later on too they mentioned like, oh, it's in sector blah blah blah.
Right, that's
like K. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever they hear that, anything, it could just be tech jargon that they're throwing in for the heck of it. But I know in the past they have said like, oh, it's Planet Sentai, and like throwing in little things
Sentai
like that.
6, yeah.
So, but so he says, go ahead and use it. Oh, one thing I want to point out here, he's like, I got to get back to work, and wait, where is it? Hold on a sec. I want to see. Oh, here's the shot. Look at his shoulder right here. He's got the white suds. This is a trope of Power Rangers for comedy effects and for working. Everybody's got dirt on them, or they got pizza, you know, sauce or whatever. They overdo it, but I'm used to it. It's part of the way they run the show. But in this case, that's supposed to be soap suds. Soap suds melt pretty quickly. They wouldn't last him riding his bike all the way to the thing, having this talk. So I just thought it was like, it must be some kind of permanent thing they put on there for the costume for when he's working. And then he just wore it in there. And it's just a nitpick, but I'm like, that shouldn't be there. That's soaps. I've seen soap suds. This is not soap suds. That would have melted a long time ago.
I think it's one of those things that you feel so strongly about washing either cars or dishes that's why it's getting you. You're like, I've been there. I've done the job. It's not like that.
Well, I haven't done a lot of car washing, but I have.
They're giving false expectations of what you're doing.
I don't know that's 100% true, but I'll take it as partially true maybe. Going back to characterizations of these guys, Zoe's like, oh, you know, I understand. You got to do what you got to do. You know, blah blah blah. And then oh, whoops, I skipped ahead. And your buddy Blue is like, I don't know why you got to work some job. And it's like, it clearly isn't like
so entitled.
Yeah, it's just like,
sorry, my mom doesn't know my secret identity, man. Jeez.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It's bad because whenever he does something unlikable, it's not even that necessarily I now hate him. I'm like, there's more fuel for the big dog to hate him. So they cut back to, now he goes back to work, and of course here's the foreshadowing shot of his communicator. A couple of things here. One, I don't know why it's there. I mean, obviously they put it there so we could see it, but I guess he doesn't want to get it wet, which struck me as odd because isn't it like super technology? Does water really affect it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, if you guys are worried about getting your communicators wet, you really got to look at your tech.
Yeah, and on top of that, doesn't he have a locker or something to put his personal items? He's working out in the open with tons and tons of people coming in and out. Anybody can steal that, and so that's one thing. The other thing is, I found it interesting that he paired it with what looks like a smartphone. So it makes it seem like the watch and the phone work together because they made it, and they show the others later, and they have a similar combo where it's like a two-part system, which I don't know why they did that. It didn't seem necessary, but it's just something I noticed that, you know, if you steal that watch communicator, you're still maybe not going to be able to use it.
One thing you might be able to rationalize from it is maybe when they're morphed, the phone becomes the little communicator that they have on the chest.
Like that. I bet you that's not what they thought, but I like your rationale and
explanation.
I
like my headcanon, yep.
Yeah, I will absolutely take that. All right, so he goes in to wash, and here's a car.
Mario, back at the car wash.
And he's washing a car that clearly someone took some, like, colored, you know, goo and just went, okay, now it's a dirty car. Because, like, how would a car get
dirt.
like that? Yeah, it's not like a pattern, like it's splashed into mud or something, but whatever. Again, that's another nitpick. Oh boy, what do we got going on here? Somebody's doing something good. Oh, Hexmeta, thank you very much for the bits and for the lurk. I appreciate both of those very much.
Thank you.
And so we go on and we cut back, and again, this goes back to what we talked about before. We're cutting between two scenes in action and stuff like that. So we cut back to now they're picking up the big pieces. Zoe said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it without you." Again, proving herself to be a better teammate and more understanding as a person.
Yep.
But also, in addition to reinforcing what we said about cutting back and forth between separate scenes, reinforcing what we said about showing the scale of things and the scope, and having a big arm just laying there next to the people, I thought was really cool to help illustrate that.
Yeah, and I like too how we can assume it was from the last episode, but maybe it was from episode 2 or 3 that this arm has been lurking here, and now they're finally on the
Right.
okay, we have a cleanup initiative. Like, let's get it going.
Yes, and that goes back to, while I didn't love the introduction of the Tronics dog, it's like, yeah, this stuff should not be left around. Dolly, wow, that's a big arm, right? And we know it's big, but when you see it in scale like that, it definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that once again they're showing us the Zords being used as more than just battle or more than just part of a bigger robot. Like they have
Yep.
their individual specialties and they're used. You know, why wouldn't you use your Zord for that? That seems perfectly normal, and especially because there isn't the edict from Zordon of like only in emergencies. No, they're like, we built this. Why would we not use it to help us do the job? You know?
Yeah, it gave me Lightspeed Rescue vibes again when I saw that.
Yep. I didn't think that, but now that you say it, so now we cut back to him, and he pulls so many miserable faces. But what I was thinking was, okay, he's miserable. They're picking up the stuff. Here he is again. Oh my God!
Look at these suds.
Yeah, suds everywhere. I'm unhappy. They cut back to them, and on the one hand, on the surface level, it's like, oh, his friends are doing cool Power Ranger stuff, and he's stuck doing like manual labor. But then I'm like, they're actually kind of doing just labor too. Like they're kind of
Yeah.
just doing construction and demolition and debris clearing, and it's interesting, but it's funny that it's like, oh man, he wishes he could be with them doing a similar kind of not exciting job, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the teamwork. She brings it over, drops it into the Smash truck version. Excuse me. And it's lucky they didn't need the car though, because the two of them were taking care of it.
Yeah. The
so-
one thing I will say
Yes.
is it's interesting with the work dynamic, like you said, of like the actual work they're doing, but how Zoe can get away doing that
Mhm.
when she was already working at Grid Battle Force, whereas they're like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, I have to go work at this car wash. Why? Because I need a job. Oh, it'd be really convenient if we could hire you at Grid Battle Force. You could do Ranger stuff
I
all
can't
day.
believe I didn't think about that. I can't
It
believe.
just dawned on me.
Yeah, they could just say he has a job there, and then yeah, it would solve everything. Oh my gosh, I kind of wish you didn't say that because now it's terrible that they didn't do
I know.
that.
Commander, where's Red Ranger? Oh, just work at the car wash.
Right, because the father doesn't care what job he has. He just wants him to have responsibility, and which is fair enough if he was a normal
Yeah.
kid. Which also led me to think maybe that's why they do so many high school seasons. Because if you're a kid in high school, you don't necessarily have to have a job. Some kids do, but it's not like if you don't, what's wrong with you? So you
Yeah.
could get away with just being like out doing whatever and nobody cares. But since they're past that age, there is a sort of
Yeah.
expectation of what are you doing with your life? Yeah, a
I'm
job
gonna
that-
add insult to injury. Not only that, but what they should do is make him the simulator technician because he's so good at video games, and now they're not gonna do it.
If it was a real job, yes, but I was thinking that they would just give him a job. You know what
Oh,
I
I
mean?
know.
Like, 'cause-
I'm just
'cause-
saying, like, if his dad's skeptical, like, why would you get hired at Grid Battle Force? Oh, remember that fighting game tournament that you wouldn't let me
See,
go to?
now
'cause
you've
made me
pushed it-
work at a car.
You pushed it too far where you're trying to let him get like revenge in some way. They could just make him a janitor. His dad would still be happy. Because as much as I'm not a huge
true.
fan of the mayor character from time to time, he would be proud of his son for being a janitor. He's not a snob. He's like, oh, you're doing work? Great, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care what it is. They're talking about the arm in chat and how large it is. So let's see. So and once again, communication through the Zord, making it seem more real. And then we cut back to this where they're looking at all the pieces of the Gigadrones, and they're no good. The circuits are all fried, which is a little convenient because I can understand how a lot of it would be unusable, but you can't analyze the metal. None of the pieces inside of an energy crystal or like a gun you never
Yeah.
thought of. But fine, they mainly want the working circuitry. That's what they're looking for, and it's not working. But again, another shot that shows scale really well. And then cut back to the car wash, and here comes the mayor, who I really go back and forth on if I like it. The actor,
I like the mayor.
the actor has won me over. I like the actor, but the character of the mayor, he has some qualities which I like, and some which I'm like, he's just a jerk, you know. And this,
I like the mayor overall. He's consistent, is what I like. Like whether or not you agree with the decisions he's made,
Right.
he's like, my son has to get a job. I'm going to go support my son in his job. I need to clean this park. Here's a way that I'm going to be convenient and help
I think
with
he's
park.
a good person overall. He wants good for the city. He wants good for his son. But you could be a good person and a jerk. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not saying he is a jerk, but I think he has jerk-like tendencies. Here's my example. He's like, I'm going to support my son. Hey, son, boy, how do you think I took your mom out on all those dates? I used to do work like this. And to prove it, I'm going to spray you with a hose. Why? He's at work. He's like, I'm going to show you my moves. My moves are spraying you with a hose. Now imagine if Devin did that to him in his suit. He would have flipped out.
Oh, hang on. Pause. Dolly Girl, sticking with my Mario theory,
Uh-oh.
adding fuel to the fire.
Let me back
How
up.
come everybody else has hats, but he doesn't?
Oh man, let's see. Oops, that got very small. I meant to go the other way. Okay, hat, 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 hat. What about the other one? Do you like
They
the
all
CSI?
have hats.
Damn, you're right.
And his could have been red.
But he has such cool hair. It would ruin his hair. That's it.
He should have a red hat and look exactly like Mario. I won't take no for an answer.
Oh man, I'm losing this argument. I could tell. I'm just gonna step aside and let you guys go forward with your Mario dreams.
Thank you, Dolly Girl, for supporting me in my Mario theory.
All right, so he gets sprayed by his jerk father, and then we cut to this scene.
I love how casual you are about it.
Well, I'll let you win the Mario fight. I'm not going to let you win the mayor fight.
That's fair. I'll concede that fight.
I was watching this originally with Q, and we cut here, and there's this scene where they just hold on the saw, and it's like, oh, look, it's an evil saw that's going to be evil in a minute. And then here comes Blaze walking in a second later.
Yeah.
Hey,
if anything, I would have liked if it was just the bait and switch of like, man, look at this table saw. Nope, I'm going to use the steel gorilla rack.
That would be, you know what? If because they've set up this trope, and if they pulled it, that would be a great joke. Arizuki said she said Mario 2 when she saw it, so I'm clearly outnumbered on the Mario thing.
Yep.
Diane Glitter, hey, just sitting in for a few. Well, thanks for stopping by. Matt Kendall, LOL Defender isn't giving up on his Mario theory, but that is really funny. No, he's not. He's absolutely. I don't think there's a Green Ranger going to show up in this series, but I feel safe that we won't hit a Luigi at least.
We'll see. Hey, it could be American only. You don't know.
That's true. That's true. Well,
they do have a Frog Zord that's green
in this season.
In Go Busters.
Well, we don't know then. But yeah, you're probably right. They'll bring it in, but. So anyway, Blaze does use the saw, even though I agree it would be great if they set up that trope and then one time switch it. Here's just a nice shot of the prop I love.
Monster.
Here's the prop, which I've said before. Somebody needs to steal from me and get it for me.
He's so cool.
He jams it in, and lo and behold, yes. And I think they call him Sliceatron is his name.
So taking a pause, this is my least favorite villain thus far.
Really?
Yes.
I was thinking that once again he actually looks like the thing that they've turned into a villain, so you'd appreciate that.
He does, but looking back at other ones that I complained about, their aesthetics, I liked their interaction better. This one was, I got super deja vu of like a Mega Force or Super Mega Force monster that's just like too over the top, going for puns too hard. Like
he was more punny than other villains we've had.
Yeah,
but it didn't bother me that much. He was a little generic, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But again, that kind of goes when you asked me about the episode in the beginning, where I said it was sort of an average episode in a good season. I feel like he's an average monster. I didn't think he was terrible. I didn't think he was great. I thought he was average.
I think he's slightly below average for this season specifically.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't love him enough that I'm going to argue about it and tell you why he's great.
And should have been Mario. Keep going.
They should have made him Wario. He should have been like, I am a slice of Wario. I'm going to win. So he gets created, and then we cut back to this CGI top of a base that they put on a park. I don't know why they didn't just build 4 walls, but I understand budget and everything, but that could have been 4 pieces of cardboard spray painted. I don't know why they felt they needed.
You could have just reused the 2 pieces of cardboard you're using for the cyber dimension.
Yeah, or taken a door from Grid Battle Force. I don't know. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but it just was noticeably not real. So then we cut inside. Now here's CGI background, but I understand why. They wanted to show a sense of scale and grandeur, and it works just fine. And then now it's a practical set, which is probably the other side of the normal base set, just with like a different background or something. So he's talking about bringing stuff in, and then this shot here caused quite a lot of kerfuffle on the internet. There's a lot of speculation of what that is. It looks like a helmet. Is it a Kamen Rider? Is it a future Beast Morpher Ranger? Theories? Thoughts?
I want to hear yours first, as my image is trying to load so I can see it properly.
I deliberately did not look into it further. Like I saw, because I try not to watch reviews of the episode before we do ours, because I don't want to repeat what other people are saying if I can help it. And I just saw people passing this around saying, what does this mean? And didn't want to look any further. It looks a bit like X-Aid to me.
And Airzuki agrees.
Oh yeah, that looks like it looks a bit like Xaid. I think the eyes are different though, because Xaid had more like rings and stuff from Kamen Rider. Here's the thing though. I don't think Go Busters and Xaid crossed over because they weren't
I
contemporaries.
don't think so.
They could have
yeah.
been in a movie later. You know, the Sentai we're talking about. I don't know if that footage exists. I also don't know if Saban still has the rights to Kamen Rider, so would they be able to get that suit? It might just be an Easter egg that doesn't go anywhere. But
One thing I thought of is it kind of looks like the faceplate of the Megazord.
It's very small for a Megazord, though.
But that's what I'm saying is they're working on a smaller version with the technology they have now to eventually build up to them being able to go together with the Megazord.
Maybe Airzuki agrees with me that the eyes on Xaid are different.
I'll put a hold on it just because my expansion of that theory goes into the spoiler alert Zord section of the episode.
Okay. Also, Miss Dolly Girl said, "Can they make a Bowser villain then for a special episode?" You guys are not going to be happy until this is just the Mario Brothers Super Show, are you?
Okay, here's what'll happen. Evox
wait, hold on. Hold on. Wait, don't say anything yet.
From a snake.
Here we go. Start over. Here's your one shot. Let's see. Go.
Okay. So Evox will expand from a snake and evolve into getting this weird cybernetic shell that the avatars and Scrozzle will help them get. It'll have spikes on it for obvious reasons. And then they will be able to breathe fire. And in a shocking twist, Red Ranger will go back to Sudsy, ask for the job back, be in full uniform, this time with a hat, being a proper employee, and then boom, full on fight.
So, now here's the issue with that. Let me go to a two-shot here. The issue with that is, aside from the fact that it's ridiculous and won't happen, but if it happens, more power to it.
It'll never happen. There's a 0%.
Here's my question. He puts the hat on and he goes to fight, but he can't fight in that outfit against the Megazord. He'd have to morph. So how is that going to hold up? Is he going to morph and still have... No? Incorrect? Okay. Explain.
No, because he's going to use his, the jewels that they have to transport weapons.
Right.
It's going to be a giant mushroom-shaped
weapon.
He's going to use it. He's going to do that classic trope of a ranger becoming the size of a Megazord, fighting regularly.
But he'll still be in civilian clothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just for this specific theory that will never happen.
I'm going to go with you on this, but there's also going to be a problem with the morphing grid where the powers will get scrambled up, and he'll get the Jackrabbit DNA that'll allow him to jump really high. Because he's Mario. And speed isn't part of Mario.
For some reason, different pieces, he'll be able to morph.
Right.
But because there's a problem with the morphing grid, he's getting the powers of the other Rangers put together, and he's having his Ranger costume and his civilian costume start to fuse a little bit. So then he'll have the helmet with the mustache, and then he'll also have kind of overalls for his body that are fused with the kind of leather jacket thing.
Well, I think it's definitely going to happen exactly as we just said. So
if anybody wants to write the fan fiction for this, I'm more than happy to read it.
I think you just did write it.
I definitely gave the synopsis.
Real quick in chat, Airzuki Bowsette. Dolly Girl says she likes Ravi's hair in this shot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very. It looks very rockabilly almost. Like it's almost like a pompadour. His hair is very well put together, regardless how much Bigdawg hates him. And Matt Kendall, I'm keeping my mouth shut about what I think. Okay, so he knows a bit about this. So I appreciate that you have an opinion, but you're not spoiling. So thank you for that, Matt. And Dolly is on board with everything you're saying. She's stop encouraging him.
Oh, I know what Matt Kendall Claire I think is talking about.
You keep it to yourself too.
Here's what I will say, because I've only seen one movie for Go Busters. Take a look at the visor.
Yeah.
What do you notice?
It looks like a visor.
It looks like there are small, thin sunglasses within the visor.
I see that. They look yellow. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Or? What do you mean?
Goldish.
They look yellow to me. I understand you're hinting towards gold, but they look 100% yellow in this shot.
All right.
But
Mario, Bowser, Gold Ranger.
I feel like we're getting a little into spoiler territory, so I don't want to go too much further down that rabbit hole. So let's move on. I just wanted to point it out. If people want to do research, and there's plenty of places to see what people are saying, feel free to follow up. But for here, I just want to move on to the rest of the episode.
Let's do it.
So we get a call in from the chief. I forget what the emergency is, but somebody's attacking something, so let's get going. And Devin, of course, isn't there, so they're like, well, we'll move out and he'll catch up. But as we saw earlier, there's this sad chair with an iPhone and a watch, and they even pan in. They're like beep 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 beep. Nope, he's not picking up. This scene is weird to me. Why is this scene weird to me, and is it weird to you?
Because he wouldn't check back regularly on his stuff, and he's so invested in the car wash that he would forget actual important ranger duties.
Okay. First of all, I agree with what you're saying about this communicating part, and I said that earlier, and I agree. It's just ridiculous. But that is not the part. This not bothered me. This seemed more odd because that was a story point where they're like, well, we're gonna make him do this because we have to forward the story. So it's a little unbelievable, but I get it. This scene that we're looking at right now is weird to me because we see a truck pull up, like a Grid Battle Force truck that you'd see the chief jump out or some technicians or something, and it's just them. They drove themselves to the battle in a regular truck. They didn't take Morphex bikes. They didn't run in Morph. They didn't take their Zords. They didn't just show up from behind something. I can't remember a time ever when I've seen Rangers show up to a fight in a car that wasn't like a Turbo Zord or something like that. Can you?
I can.
When?
Yep. Time for Silver Guardians.
Silver Guardians weren't Rangers, though.
2 of them were.
Well, West joined later. Okay, that's an exception. You're right, but it's not exactly the same though, because they are part of a military force. This is part of the crew, and Quantum, he was like a Silver Guardian first. He was a paramilitary guy. This was his job.
Yeah.
Then he got the powers. West was a Ranger first. He later joined it, but that's sort of like a sideways exception. Regular Rangers.
I want to say between season 3 and Turbo, it may have happened with somebody's Zord Jeep.
I'm not counting that. I'm not like Thunder Blaster or something like that.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm not counting like a regular Jeep that they happen to have.
Like maybe like a Ninja Steel with the Yellow's Jeep or something.
Oh, that too. Actually,
Maybe.
I forgot about that.
Well, I think we could agree that while it might not be unique, it's unusual.
Correct.
To see them pulling up this way, and especially because I thought they were going to pull up and have like other security with them, or it seemed like they're in the car because they're with a squad of some sort. So I don't know. It struck me as strange, as really all I was getting at. Not wrong, but
one thing you made me think of also is kind of along the same lines of the Silver Guardians. They only recently got Rangers. What did they do for stuff like this before that, and why are none of those people like helping ever?
Because the mayor, despite my disagreements with him, was prophetic and correct when he said, hey, if we get this Morphex stuff going on, isn't that going to invite a lot of people to attack us all the time? And so I think they weren't getting attacked all the time. They were aware there were aliens in the world and people had been attacked before, but their particular town wasn't a focus of attack. And he said, when we start messing with this Morphex, won't it make us a focus of attack? And he was right.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, we have the Power Rangers to protect us. So basically, I don't think they were in any danger until they started the project and started messing with the Morphex significantly. And at the same time, they created
something in place.
Well, they have normal security guards like at the base, but they're just like regular people with guns or whatever, presumably. They built the Power Ranger suits in anticipation of needing security. They seem to have not. They had regular security guards, then they said we're going to need Power Rangers, and it seems like when they needed the Power Rangers, they had them. But I don't think they were under attack from extraterrestrial threats until the Power Rangers were created.
Okay.
He begrudgingly accepts. Real quick in chat, Erzuki said, this is going back a bit, oh God, whenever Bigdawg says, here's what I will say, and thinks it's spoiler-free, he pretty much spoils things, LOL. Not 100%, but definitely shades of truth to that. Definitely shades of truth. Okay.
I will remain neutral on that statement.
So they're like, what, only 2 of you? Ha ha ha, we'll defeat you easily. And then they start this shot with the blade coming at them, which they reuse a lot in this episode. I don't hate it, but they definitely they really lean into the CGI blades for whatever reason. And then this is where the oh my gosh, this would just be the opening credits. I was gonna say we're going late because it's 6, but I guess we did talk about Morphicon a lot this week.
True.
So then we cut back, and they dodge it handily, and as you would expect. But they realize, well, there's only 2 of us. They're already shooting blades. We better morph up pretty quick here.
I really liked the tricks and flipping they did in the scene, by the way.
I don't disagree. And so they morph up. And we've seen it before, but I always like to see the different angles. That's a weird. Their mouths. They were like morphin time or whatever word they were saying, but they're like.
Yeah.
Again, not a glamorous shot, but whatever. And then I just took a shot of this because I always love when the rabbit's screaming, even though we've seen it 100 times. That's my favorite. And now they're Rangers and they're ready to go. So, and Blaze turns from the character that you can't bother to pay attention to what he's saying to one of your favorite characters of all times. Is that accurate?
Sure.
Exaggeration.
And now he's morphed, so I like him better.
Well, that's what I said. He went from that was my point. He goes from a character you could barely pay attention to what he's saying to one of your favorite characters of all times as soon as he morphs.
Oh, sorry. I got confused and thought you were talking about the monster.
No. I was talking about Blaze
I talked the most smack about as many characters as I could this week inadvertently. There's 3 at the top of my list of Blaze is kind of annoying, Blue is blue. I don't like Slicotron.
Right. Fair enough, but I know that you like morphed Blaze, and I was more just giving the point of kind of reminds me of Lois Lane, who's like, Clark, you're such an idiot. Superman, you're great, and I feel like that's how you are with Blaze.
Kinda. I did like, and I didn't notice this before on Blaze's mask. I didn't notice kind of a monocle thing on his left side.
I don't think it's a monocle. I have a better shot later, so we'll come back to that. I noticed it in one of the first episodes. I could be wrong, but I think it's corruption or infection. It's supposed to be that. Well, when we get to the later shot, we'll zoom in on it. But
yeah,
if it's a monocle, I was way off because that's not what I
thought.
Oh,
no, it's not a monocle. I just meant also because I'm looking at Baboo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Baboo definitely is a monocle.
Yeah.
But so now we cut back to the controller, the communicator that is not being monitored closely enough, and he finally sees it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a bad ranger. It's an emergency," and he's like, "I'm sudsy, and I have suds in my beard and in my tiny." He didn't say that. He's just unhappy about his bad worker. And then we cut back to the fight. What did you think of this fight? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
To both points.
Yeah.
I do like that Sudsy was incredibly disgruntled about him leaving.
Agreed.
That part I like.
That's realistic.
With the fight, the one thing I disliked is they made it seem like they couldn't win without Red. Which, whether or not that's the case of fighting both, when they're both fighting Blaze and then they're getting their butts kicked, and then later on Red goes toe-to-toe with Blaze, I didn't like that it kind of made Yellow and Blue seem a lot weaker than we know they really are.
I agree, and I feel like that's... Oh boy, toys are flying off my shelf. I feel like that's... might have to do with Sentai footage, because the Red is always sort of the super best one, the most powerful, But I agree. Regardless of why it had to be done, if it had to be done, I agree that was a little disappointing, considering how much butt we've seen them kick previous to this.
Wasn't Blaze an American only, though?
I didn't think so. Maybe without spoiling, maybe somebody like Matt could tell us. I thought Blaze was a suit that existed from the Sentai, and they expanded on his character a little bit, but that he did exist.
I'm under the impression, and very happy to be wrong,
right,
that Blaze and Roxy are both American only, because my classic thing of, it doesn't exist is, there's no Sentai toy of it.
That's not necessarily. There's always more Sentai toys of heroes than villains. In Japan, the heroes always outshine the villains in toy sections.
But one thing is the suit for Snide and Dino Charge came from Go Busters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He was not a Kyoryuger villain?
No.
That's crazy. That is news to me. So this has been Bigdawg Knowledge Zone on Gazbot Knight. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And I like Snide too. I thought he was a cool villain, so that's surprising to me. Well, I guess we don't. My understanding, Scrozzle is 100% American. I thought they, at the very least, were in the show, but maybe have expanded roles in this show. I could be wrong and feel. Oh, here we go. Okay, Matt Kendall. Oh, thanks for the bits, Arizuki. Matt Kendall, Claire. Blaze monster form is from Go Busters. Roxy monster form technically comes from Go Busters, but it was recolored. Okay, so.
Sure.
So they do come from it, but maybe they're used slightly differently. But I wonder then how much of this footage is American only, because I usually figure the civilian fights are mainly American, and then the shoot fights are mainly. There's some overlap there, but that's my general assumption going in. I wanted to comment on this. I watched him get hit several times here, and I think I got it. So he's flying, right? And he falls, and he kind of falls in a weird way where it looks like he's going this way, and then kind of falls like that. And I thought, well, that's because of the wire work and like the way they're making it safe, and like it's just sort of a weird Power Rangers thing that has to happen because he's not actually being hurt. And that's true. I mean, that's probably why he falls the way he does. But in this particular instance, I realize he's flying and he hits the door, and so it makes sense when he falls sort of forward because he was stopped. And it was just a little thing, but it's like, I imagine that the stunt people had to do it that way, but then they justified it story-wise why he would kind of land awkwardly the way he did. I don't know. I just liked it. It was a fun hit. I thought it was a good little bit of business that the stunt people did there.
Yeah, I think they did a good job.
All right. That's all.
No, between like all of the action in this episode, that was more of one that like I was fine with it, but the unfortunately, it was really far away. The flips that they did as they were dodging the saw blades, I really liked.
Yeah. Well, and that, I guess the thing is, that's the kind of stuff we've come to expect from good Power Rangers, and certainly from this season. That was I was pointing that out not as like this is the best stunt I've ever seen, but it was more of an attention to detail, like a writer like kind of point of view thing that usually if somebody's getting hit and flying around, who cares? But I'm like, they actually made a point of making the physics of this make sense. And so while it wasn't impressive on a big scale, the little detail guy in me, it's the same guy that hated the Suds, appreciated that.
Fair, very fair.
All right, so we come back, and they're still 2-on-1 fighting him. I don't remember what that was, just getting a hit in. Oh, I cut to it came out blurry, but that's Slicetron slicing the scaffolding to fall, which makes sense, and whatever, he's doing his move. But I did make a comment when I was watching, and he's like, I can slice through anything, even these hollow aluminum pipes. Like, I could almost cut through that. Pipe. Pipe is hype for those that don't know. If you say pipe enough, you get hype out of it. Matt Kendall Clare. Fun fact for Sudsy, his actor is John Lee, and he also had a previous history with the show, on-screen and voice history. That's awesome. I love that. I love using legacy characters. I love keeping it sort of like a family history. That's great. Arizuki can attest. He did make this comment. Yeah, I watched it with Arizuki. So he knocks it down, and they're pinned down. Now, obviously, they're not defeated or killed or anything, but it's like, oops, I'm in a bad situation for a second.
Yep.
And then we cut to... Oh, here's the shot I was talking about. This is the monocle thing you were talking about. Let's zoom in. Zoom in and enhance. I could zoom in. There is no enhance. This is just zoom in. So it is sort of circular over the eye, but I took that as a mark of corruption. I took that as like that's the virus, that's the evil, that's the Evox, whatever you want to call it, infiltrating because the same way they glitch from time to time. Which actually, now that I said that, I didn't notice him glitching that much this episode. Did you?
No, I think they stopped it because of the effects.
I don't like that because I liked that they were glitchy. And actually, Roxy didn't glitch too much in the last episode either.
No, she did because of the rose.
The rose glitched. I wonder if they're phasing it out altogether, but
maybe.
Looking at this more closely, what do you think now? Yeah.
One thing for the monocle, it actually now up close reminds me more of like a Scouter from Dragon Ball.
Sure.
So I'm thinking it's more of like something he uses of like analyzing as opposed to corruption.
Really? Well, we can't know that for sure right now. But I would bet money that you're wrong.
Okay.
Not that
I think it's more likely mine than yours.
I think it's possible I'm incorrect as well, but I think it's so unlikely because they have a heads-up display in the visor. Why would he need another little like squiggle on top of it? I mean, it looks like paint or something. Why would he need that on top of the visor? Wouldn't the visor just have whatever functionality it has?
But he's an avatar, and I'm right.
All right, so I've just won that argument.
We will see. We will see as it plays out.
All right. So here's the scaffolding, and they're starting to move in, but we see this blur, which of course is Devin with his cheetah power, pulling a full flash and creating like a whirlwind to knock everything away.
That was pretty cool. I did like that little unintentional homage.
Yeah, that was very good. And then we cut out of that, and he's like, are you okay? Yeah, thanks for making it. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry about it, buddy. I'm your teammate, even though I was a jerk earlier, and I'll be a jerk again later.
You know what gives more time to save your friends from scaffolding?
What's that?
Using your super speed to punch the villains and get them out of the way, and then get your friends to get picked up.
I disagree. Here's why. Let's say he punches the villain, and it doesn't go well. Now he's fighting the villains 2-on-1 while they're trying to get themselves out of scaffolding.
I guess.
If he frees them, now it's 3-on-1.
I guess.
plus, as a hero, you got to worry about the well-being of others first. Not defeating the bad guy, punching the bad guy is secondary. Protecting people is first. So it thematically works too.
The way I was thinking about it was less trying to take care of the bad guy before you take care of you, more because the other two heroes are down, the bad guys have more of a chance to execute the next step of their plan. So you're stopping them for a sec, saving your friends, and then regrouping, and everybody gets back to square one.
I see what you're saying, but again, that's sort of like logical military tactics. These guys are superheroes. They're better. They're the best of the best.
In a battle force.
Yes, but they're still supposed to be the best of the best, morally, intellectually, everything. So they're held to sort of an idealistic standard. So, yes, helping his friends might let them get away with the next phase of their plan, but you can't leave your friends in need. Excuse me.
No, it wasn't them getting away. It's like they're down, and it's like, okay, cool, let's finish them. Boom.
I don't think your tactics are incorrect, but I think, again, he's the leader. He's a hero. He has to follow a different set of morals and edicts there. I love this shot of Blaze, just like...
His sword's so cool. I really like his sword.
I agree. Even in the I think, yeah. And again, in the figure, it's not a generic. It's the actual. Let me go one shots for people that haven't seen it. It's the actual mold of that sword with a little bit of paint, where it's supposed to be. So once again, even though I talked crap about the Cruise figure, the rest are good, including Blaze. Two shot? No. Full Ranger show. Go. Okay. So he's like, now we're going to do it. And no, we're going to get you. Haha. And I like this bit of teamwork, too, because the two of them pull out the blasters and Devin charges in with his super speed. Again, just nice teamwork that maybe isn't even necessary. Maybe they could have all just done blasters, but why not, mix it up? You have nothing to say, so I'll move on.
So I was going to say, sorry, the one thing I was doing is, as I was staring at Devin, is... Man, those overalls would fit really well.
Oh, my God. Okay, I'm glad I moved on. So he knocks him down, and he's standing there looking very much not like Mario. They win, and he says, this isn't over. I'm going to leave. He goes down a warp pipe. Oops, oh, no, you've infected me.
This part I had the biggest sigh for.
Why? Is it because he fans himself? Your favorite Ranger?
Oh, and he was such a diva when he did it. That was the worst part. I get it what they were going for. He was like, oh my gosh, I almost overheated. Tiny fan that he quickly puts away.
Remember when I said when I see him do stuff now, it's not whether I like it or not, it's, oh, the big dog's going to hate this. This was the main scene where I was like, this is bad. Like I'm like, oh, come on, Ravi, this is bad for you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, buddy. Arizuki says when this happened, I was like, oh God, Bigdawg is going to hate this. And she's right, and you do.
Well, at least I'm consistent.
But I will say he is being a bit of like the way he's holding it like a diva, but I do like that they're bringing back up the weaknesses in a way that I don't hate. He almost overheated because he had to pull more weight. She's having a carrot casually, so...
The casual carrot I was more okay with. The other thing, too, is, notice, he's wearing a jacket. He's the only person here wearing a jacket.
That's a good point. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. Why is he wearing a jacket? I don't know.
Just immediately, oh my gosh, I almost overheated. All right, I don't hate it as much. Oh my gosh, guys, I overheated because I got gorilla power. Oh no.
I hate to admit you have some valid points. The jacket is your best point there. And so now he's like, okay, I got to get back to work because I was on my work break, and they're not happy about that. And then we get a call. Hey, this is when we find out. Sorry, I skipped ahead. This is where he says, we can't use any of this because it's all been deactivated, the circuitry deactivated. Earlier you said none of this is working. Now he's confirmed that none of it is usable because it's all been destroyed. And then he gets a call from, and she's slating carrots. He gets a call from his boss, and he's like, how many cars? I'll be right there. And once again, Ravi is like, that's an unfortunate screen grab. Ravi is like, why do you got to go to your job? And it's like, he's already explained it, he knows what's up. So we get back, Sudsy over here saying, hey, I've been in the show a lot of times, apparently Gazbot just learned. So get over there.
Don't you remember? I'm Sudsy.
But I do like this, and even you have to like this. They're like, you know what? Here's how you support a teammate. He's got to do this. We don't want him to. We're going to help him get done quicker. And Blue even says, like, yeah, we're a team, right? That win him any points with you?
Yeah.
No.
Well, the good news is now he took off his jacket. Now that he's going to be nice and cool and damp.
Anyway, moving on.
No, I did like that they supported him.
Okay.
I hated that, like, we're just frustrated at all of them for putting their morphers down.
Yeah, well, we haven't got there yet, but I agree. So back to the
Oh.
evil zone of virtual evil time, and Scrozzle's like, I have an idea, and Blaze is like, Roxy's rather, screw you, get out of my way, I know what to do, which is weird. Again, like there's a conflict coming here because he's even like on their side. He's like, I'm with it, I know what's happening, and it's like, get out of my way, idiot. Like, if there isn't some major conflict between them at some point, I will be shocked and disappointed because they set it up constantly, and I like that, but it's got to pay off, and I believe it will. I have faith that it will. So then we go, oh look, here's all three of them piled together with. See, there's the corresponding phones I was talking about. None of them have lockers. They could have put it in that black truck they're driving around in. Which actually, how come they didn't ride morph bikes?
I'm not sure. The other thing that I like is looking at the screenshot. They didn't just pile them onto each other. They made it as aesthetically pleasing as possible.
There was some set designer.
Yeah,
that's to make sure you knew they were all there. I agree. I'll let that go for story clarity for the kids watching, so it's very clear. But that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And also, shouldn't his jacket be there? Like, throw the jacket over it, at least for that little bit of security.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just realized something.
What?
The beginning. Scrozzle's plan to hack all the video and surveillance cameras in the city. That's what he's using right here. That's why he saw it. So he's like, by the way, my plan makes sense because look what I found. I'm like, get out of the way. He had a good plan. Scrozzle. We didn't give you enough credit, buddy.
Clap for Scrozzle.
Wow. I can't believe I didn't get that until just now.
Well done.
Man, Scrozzle, he's undervalued. He basically just handed them the morphers here, or the communicators, I should say. Matt Kendall Claire, me too. I'd be disappointed if the Avatars and Scrozzle don't have a major conflict. Yeah. Okay, so then we get back, and he's like, come on, let's go back. I'm Blaze. Bigdawg doesn't care about me, but he will when I morph, so let's get out of here. This was a weird little thing where they were dancing just for like a second. Like I thought it was going to turn into a whole thing like, yeah, use the groove and then you put on the lube and then you soap it up and then you hit the bup. But they were just like, nope, just for like 1 second they danced. I don't know if I wanted a dance number, but it was just weird to me that it didn't happen.
Sudsy means business, and he only allows that much dancing.
Oh, I see. Maybe they started dancing and then they just go, huh? They're like, nothing,
He
Sudsy.
just crossed his arms and gave a disapproving shake of the head.
So then we cut back to this scene, and of course we know exactly what's going to happen. Slicetron slices them up. They hit the ground. I am impressed that he was able to cut all 6 items all in one slice. So he has precision as well as power.
I'm not. There's not a lot to do other than sharpening your swords in the dark dimension of nothingness.
So you think he's been practicing throwing things up and cutting them? Wait, he never... Hold on. Continuity. He never existed in that dimension. He was brought to life on Earth.
You can't win them all with these.
No,
guys.
I feel like I'm winning more than I'm losing today.
I can't win them all.
That's
all right?
true. Well, nobody can.
It's difficult.
All right, so there's they on the pieces, and now here comes another black truck. And this is what I was saying before. This is what I expect. The chief jumps out. So when they jumped out earlier, it just like threw me off. So she jumps out, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "What are you doing here?" Or like BoJack Horseman would say, "What are you doing here?"
Look at jacketless Ravi.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, he looks not overheated as a gorilla.
I did concede the jacket point. That was one of the points you did get.
And we got Mario leading the squad. Continue.
Yeah, okay, you won. Well, I don't know if you won that one so much as I don't feel like arguing about that one. So she comes in and she's like, your communicators aren't working. What are you doing washing cars? And Ravi with his lovely hair and his no jacket is like, oh, guys, bummer, man.
He overacted that, but I tried to look past it and not.
It was a little overacted, but I mean, what else are you gonna do? It's got to be heavy.
Guys, oh man, look at this. Who left these here?
Oh man. So what Airzuki says. Listen, Bigdawg, if you think the Power Rangers don't have a breathable, sweat-wicking jacket technology to keep them cool, you're out of your mind. Oh,
hey,
and Dolly
you
Girl's
know what's
back on the
better than
Mario
Jack
thing.
Wiggin technology? Little mini fans that you only need a minute. That's such great Morph X fueled fans.
Well, they get a call that more trouble coming, and you notice it's not the chief because the chief is there, so it's one of this other techs that gets a little. Was she the same one that had the weird hand movements in the first episode?
she's the this hand
Yeah,
girl.
so she is like the number one background extra that gets a few lines. She's number one on that list. All right, so she calls it in, and they're like, all right, let's get going. Hey, another emergency, Sudsy. And Sudsy gives him the lowdown. I'm telling your father if you leave, and you're done. And he's like, I'm done then. And he gets his sad face.
Disgruntled Red Ranger walks away from his Mario dreams.
Danny F9 says, up. Because he's Mario?
Pipe. Yeah! Instead of pipe, it's up.
I don't know if that's true. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there. Arizuki, don't underestimate the mini fan. Matt can declare a good idea, Arizuki. All right, so let's see what we got. So now we're to the city scene. They're moving in, and the Rangers are here to fight them. And once again, I pause here. You're talking about the fights. This is another good fight scene. I love this kick to the back of the head. I don't. It's just so savage. He's just like if that was a human, that'd be the end of the fight. Like.
Yeah, just hey, what's up? Bam!
Back of the head kick to you.
Yeah, that was cool. One thing right before this fight that I liked is they didn't have any communicators and their phones were destroyed. And Chief's like, hey, let's get new ones right now. I was like, thank you.
Good point. And we know they have the technology to make that happen. Very, very good point. I forgot to address that. Thank you. And so then we have, like you said before, Red Ranger is fighting Blaze, and the other two are taking on Slicetron. This choreography here with the stair fight overall was good. He did some cool kicks and jumps up and stuff. But there was one part right here that was really weird to me, where he was under, and he's like, I'll kick him up, I'll try to get him here, and then he went under, and he literally kind of went like, and it reminded me of when my cat is trying to get something from under the carpet, from the couch, where they're just like, where is it? It's somewhere, and it was such a good choreography otherwise, but I was just like, what happened there? That made no sense.
Yeah, I try not to nitpick on the fight scenes just because, if anything, that's one where I'm like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, I'm not even
unlike other scenes.
It's a thing again where it was in the middle of a bunch of cool stuff, but it was just it was a weird choice. It wasn't like they messed up a kick. It wasn't like it was an unbelievable feat. It was just it was just odd to see. So now we cut back to the mayor, and he's like, "What? He got fired already? I'm gonna have a reason to be a bigger jerk than ever before." Watch, he does.
The one thing I liked about the scene is he's like, my son got fired. Oh, the Power Rangers.
Yes, and here's some nice.
Let me watch this fight.
Here's some CGI gray stuff that fell in front of his car. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. And then here's the Power Rangers.
Rubble.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. I know. It was bad CGI that I didn't like. So then he sees the Ranger, and of course he focuses on the Red Ranger instinctively, somehow knowing. And then they're fighting, and I think there's a scene.
Oh my God!
What?
Sorry, Matt can declare, well, Devin is a cat. Sorry, couldn't help myself.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Justified. Diane Glitter, haha, cat reference, made me laugh. Good. Wow, but that is, he is a cat. If they did that on purpose, that is genius. If it was an accident. It's the most meta
thing we've seen all day.
I think we just made it make more sense than it did. But yeah, Matt, that could be genius.
So good.
So they're fighting Slicetron, and once again, here comes that single blade right at the camera. And what's it gonna hit? Of course, this little girl that is frozen and unable to move with fear. So we cut though, and what's this? Super speed cheetah, Devin. Oh, and I had to point this out too. So the blade misses and smashes this weird, more bad CGI window. Why couldn't they just break a window? What it's I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't know. Because I understand it's a budget thing, but they had to pay somebody to do that CGI. They could have just bought a pane of glass for $20 and smashed it.
You know what would? One thing I'm bummed about, only because I got my hopes up too much, is you could tell the little girl's there. You're like, she's gonna be in danger. So as he's getting ready to throw it, I was honestly really hoping that the mayor saw what was going down. I was like, oh no, this girl's gonna get hit. Starts running over, jumps, tackles her out of the way. Then Red comes and was like, oh, thanks for saving her. Random person who I'm gonna pretend like I don't know. And then they fight to redeem the mayor a little bit, showing that he can get his hands dirty.
And they, I had a similar thought of I wonder if the mayor's gonna run in and save her. And they're like, no, not the mayor.
Not that jerk.
He couldn't find a way to make her feel bad about herself. Or I guess if he saved her, then he's like, "Boy, you're kind of dumb for standing there." That would be in keeping. Because he does
Keep your
want
eyes peeled, little
Because you're right.
girl.
He does
so
want to
says
do
the mayor.
He wants to do the right thing, but make you feel bad about it.
Yeah.
All right, so they save him. The mayor does not get involved. Cheetah speed go, and he's impressed. He's like, "Man, look at that cheetah. I wish my son was him." And now we see Blue fighting Blaze. And you were saying before about how they didn't seem to be able to hold their own, but here's Blue with his, and I like again using the gorilla strength. Why not use those powers, And he gives him a nice punch, and it mirrors the punch he got before, where now Blaze goes flying. So I thought that was kind of a cool little comeuppance.
I thought it was cool. It reminded me a lot of like a worse Iron Fist.
Or better.
Yeah, because he is a Zord.
And he's not Iron Fist. So then Blaze is like, "I'm going to teleport out of here," which is the flag for it's time for, my monster to lose. Oh, no, he says, "I got to think bigger." That's what he says. And so he teleports back to the Nightmare Dimension.
When I saw that, I was like, ooh, what do we got?
Yeah.
What do we got? Gigatron time!
So here we are in Nightmare Digital Evil world. And he comes in, "Scrozzle, we need to go bigger. I'm way ahead of you." And then here we go. It's a new Gigatron, and I wrote it down. It is the Gamma model of the Gigadrone, I should say. The new Gamma model.
Gigatron, yes.
I love this guy. He
dude,
looks so cool.
I looked, and for a split second, I'm like, is Blaze gonna be piloting this evil-looking Zord? And then it
could be. It could be It's such a neat design. It could be their Megazord, but it's not. It's just like a regular. He's got this cool spike on his head. He's kind of got a little bit of a Gundam thing going.
Well, he's like the evil version of the Racer Zord.
He kind of is, but I think he's going to be reused. I don't think he's a one-shot. I think because he has the Slicertron, now he gets it once he lands. Previously, he didn't have that. So I think that's like the base model, and we'll probably see a few more of this.
With the Slicertron power-up, yep.
Yeah, but I liked it. And Erzuki pointed this out when we were watching it. He lands, and again, awesome shot of him landing in the city. And then he's like, do I go that one? Do I go that one? Yeah, and then he moves in. But it was a fun little moment where he's like, huh? And then he actually moved in the correct direction.
One thing I thought of also, I did like that. I agree with you. All right, assuming your theory is correct about this Gigadron, and it gets reused multiple times and has different attributes per the Monster of the Week
kind of like
episode,
Mega Man.
And you get a figure with swappable arms and
armor. That would be fantastic. Ooh. It would have to be.
You're welcome, Hasbro. You're welcome.
It would have to be. It couldn't be a $10 figure. It'd have to be the deluxe 15, like the Beast Bots. But I'd pay 15 for a swappable hand Gamma.
Well, no, you could just do a Zord of it.
Oh, a full Zord. Oh yeah,
you could do either or.
It depends on the price point. It sounds good. I want it. Make it somehow. Matt says the Gamma model drone looks cool.
Sorry, I'm reading Irazuki's comment.
I like when Bigdawg gets serious. He speaks slower. It's true. I'm the Bigdawg, and what I think.
Here's what I think of this episode.
You know who did that exact camera move earlier in this episode? Paul Shearer.
You're welcome.
Yeah, once again, you're my bulky. Uh-oh. I got a little... I'm getting a little static on my end. I'm going to mute for 1 second. Unmute. All right, try talking now.
Am I better?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a hiss noise, but I think we can get past it.
The correct answer was no, you're not better, but there's nothing we can do about it. So the Zord is going to the tower.
Yeah, you are better, but there's nothing we can do about it. And we cut back to the three of them getting ready to blast. They hit him, but he survives, which surprised me that they hit him with 3 direct hits and he survived it. Then they get the call, and once again they're going to split up. He's like, "I'll take him on in the Racer Zord. You guys handle this."
Yeah.
And I like this shot of him trying to cut into the tower, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I like that. Cut to the Racer Zord transforming. We've seen this before, but it's kind of cool. And then again, friggin' saw blades everywhere. Zoom. Look at how high she's jumping compared to him. Again, Jack.
I know.
DNA.
So great.
So good. And I was thinking as he did this, I'm like, he's done this move like so many times. He's just like, this is his move. Here's a whole bunch. Good luck. What are you gonna do? And as I thought that, because we cut back to this. He's ripping in again. The editing, I've realized, the editing keeps the pace going in these episodes so well. Like they're always cutting back and forth, and it's the pacing. I'm never bored. The editor deserves to get some kind of raise. Yeah. So he's cutting in. Race Zord's coming up. He turns around, and you think he's going to shoot him, but no, he puts up like an Evangelion shield. It's like, what? He can't.
I know, it was so cool.
Right? When have we seen that? I mean, maybe at some point in the series somewhere, but it's certainly not a common thing, you know? Like, Arizuki said if that were in real life, he would do some martial arts poses while talking about the Bigdawg. And so, yeah, he completely blocks him and does such a good job that he blasts him back with feedback and knocks out all the systems. And so he's like, are you okay? Crew's like, you okay? He's like, I'm okay, but we're knocked out of commission here. And they show the screen all getting corrupted and stuff, which, again, I just love those touches of showing, like, the consequences of what's happening. And Cruz is like, well, I'll fix it, but we got.
I honestly thought we were seeing Megazord this episode.
Me too. I did too, because of how badly the fight was going. I'm fine that we didn't, because like the longer we wait, the cooler it's going to be when we finally get there. And then they show schematics and like, here's how we're fixing it. And I also like, they often say like, oh, we got to get more power up, but they actually, didn't go into crazy detail. But Cruz is like, I'm going to work on fixing it. Here's a readout. Here's this, and they kind of just show that there's some kind of self-repair diagnostics going on. And I like that. Meanwhile, the Slicetron, well, I guess he's the Gigadrone Gamma Model Slicetron, whatever they call him.
Gigatron.
But he's got the Slice attachment, so...
Gigaslice Monstertron.
Gigaslice Evil
Omatic,
Dimensions of
4,000.
Yes, that exact thing. He cuts open the front, and we see that those... that those three pillars are basically just armor protecting what's inside. And then he starts using some kind of suction beam to suck it up into himself for later use, I guess. And then she's like, whoa, this will not stand. We need to get the other Zords out there. Here's what we're going to do. And I'm like, what is she going to have the Beast Bots pilot him? And she's like, yes, we're going to have the Beast Bots pilot him.
That part I thought was awesome, where he's like, what? Oz pilot him? And then, of course...
No problem.
Yeah, just we got it. Yep,
We got it. You got it. Yeah, I loved it. And perfectly in keeping. And Arizuki and I were talking about how Zoe has such a chipper like can do, and he's like, what are you gonna do? Like they're so different as far as like being positive and gruff. But even though he's gruff, he's equally like ready to dive in. So she might be like, it's a beautiful day and I'm going to win the world with love. He's like, what are we doing? Let's go. So they match each other with their heart, their fighting spirit, even if it's,
Was that a clip you took from the episode? I couldn't tell if that was you or the robot talking.
It's a me. Arizuki says,
it's a me, Megabot.
Arizuki, hot take, there are no Megazords this whole season. This is going to sound sacrilegious, but I would be okay with that, I think. If they kept up this level of quality,
I'd be okay with
I could
it
live
too,
with
honestly.
I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but I could live with it. Matt Kendall says, Slicer Drone is what Devon had called. I always want to call him Devon because of the way it's spelled. What Devon had called him, so I think it's probably the name. I thought it was interesting how Jackson Smash had to operate the Zords. Yeah, me too. I thought that was really cool, and it's good to know they could do it. And
I like having that as an extra aspect.
Yep.
Because I know in the past they've done it where they're like, oh yeah, just put the Megazord on autopilot. It's like, why do you guys not do that all the time?
Well, here's my assumption is that they function better as a team.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So all three of them, when the Zord with the Beast Bot and the Ranger there, it works perfectly. And this is sort of like a lower power. Like I got to pay attention to piloting and whatever else is going on, and so. But it is good, like you said, to have as an option.
No, I liked it for this season. What I meant is in other seasons where they're like, oh yeah, let's just get all 4 Megazords going. There's only 2 of us. It's like plot hole.
Right. So Red Ranger.
I'm commending him on this though.
Excellent. Race Resort is still out of commission, but he's like, helps a hand. Here they come. And Jax comes in, and they call it their attacks. I forget. He's just like Jack Cannon or something like that. And he's like, Gorilla Cannon. I already forget what they are, but they're specialized attacks. And then there's this big flash, and once again, it makes me think of Ava, where it's just like everything's being repelled by this super shield. And then so they cut back to this fight again. Awesome parallel storytelling, fun editing. He comes in and he's like headbutt, and I'm like, why would he headbutt them when he has all these saw blades? And then he turns on his saw blades and cuts them with his head. And I'm like, oh, that's why. Good, well done, show. You shut me up.
Yep.
So back to the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, what I was gonna say to your previous comment with how they weren't able to kill him with all 3 blasts. I'm really liking that all of these villains this season take a lot of effort.
Me too.
Like,
Me too.
I'm loving that. Instead of like, oh yeah, let's take care of this and let's all pilot Megazord and we got this new power up and we win.
And we're
It's
making
like,
jokes
no.
the entire time.
Yep, and like the spreading of resources, I want it to get to a point where something like this happens and they're so drawn thin where it's like, all right, all of the Beast bots are piloting Zords, the
Right.
Rangers are fighting multiple monsters, and there's Tronics in the town, so everybody at Grid Battle Force has to take the weapons off the wall and like start defending. Like just
kind of like the
crazy
end
stuff.
of In Space, where it's just like all hands on deck, sort of.
Yeah, that or Turbo even,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like, all right, let's
I'm
do
with
it.
you. And that'll also help justify when they need the Megazord. It'll help justify when they get other Rangers, because it won't just be like, well, just because they showed up, why not? You know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on a sec. Dolly Girl says, "Oh my God, they should have green hippopotamus be in this, so there can be a Luigi." Stop encouraging the Bigdawg Defender.
That's gonna be my next request from you is Go Buster Red Mario version.
Never. You couldn't pay me enough money. It'll never happen. Never.
Now to spite you, I'm gonna go to a con with you and you're gonna be like, oh, what'd you get? Boom.
Hey man, if you want to pay some other hapless artist to do your horrible work, that's fine. You're not gonna rope me into it.
I will not be shamed.
I will not be shamed. So the Zord showed up. They're not doing much better. He's worried, like, oh, we got to get the power up. And we cut back to yet again all these slice blades coming at them. And they have finally learned from their mistakes. And they sort of catch them all, and they're balancing them like spinning plates. Like, have you ever seen that trick? And I almost at the exact same moment, a Slicetron was like, what? And he said it too. And then they fling him back. It's a little crazy and unbelievable that they'd be able to do it exactly that way. But I like that he used the same attack too many times, and they're like, okay, we know how to deal with this now. That makes sense. That they wouldn't just keep dodging him forever. And that is what turned the tide, using his own weapons against him. Then they come in and give him a double hit. And now with just two guns, they're able to finish him off. And I would complain, except that they just weakened him up with his own slicers, so that's fine.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, they hit
His
him.
defenses are low.
Yeah, and he gives some sort of quip. He's like, I guess I've been left on the chopping block, which is, again, like you said, he's much more punny than others, but I don't mind that much if once in a while, the villains are a little goofy. Because the villains should take it. Good.
Yeah, go for it.
The villains, especially the villains of the week, should take it a little less seriously because they were like created a day ago just to fight. There's no real stakes for them.
What I will say is, because it's early, it makes me nervous. But I'm going to be cautiously optimistic and hope that it's not a recurring trend and is more every once in a while like, here's a serious one, here's a really goofy one, here's one in between, like
that
each one having their own personality.
I'm with it because I like goofy, but not all goofy all the time. Matt says, I don't think that Dolly Girl knows how to stop encouraging Defender. I fear you're right, and I worry. It's early in the season, so I'm gonna not worry about it too much. But I worry what that could turn into later, where it's just gonna be all goofy, Defender all the time. I don't. Let me point this out. They're watching him, get destroyed, and he explodes, and of course they keep looking at it.
I'm just like, wow, look at what we did.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else we have to do now.
Right, but more to the point. Normally, I'm a ranger, right? Here I am. I'm fighting a monster. Boom, the monster explodes. What do? I turn around in slow motion and look the other way. When do they just keep looking at it? It doesn't bother me. Like, why I would look at it. It's awesome. But has that ever happened before where they just look at it?
I think what I'll rationalize it for is because of previous things that we said. They're confirming that he is destroyed.
Hold on. You're missing my point. I think this is a good thing. I'm not saying why would they do that in character. I'm saying in the meta, all the seasons of Power Rangers, they always turn around. And it's like they actually had them look at it. Has that happened before?
It probably did once or twice, but it is a non-norm, as mentioned of other things as well.
But I do agree that in universe, the fact that they're confirming the kill makes sense. I completely agree.
And seeing if there's any pieces or anything, like, I like that.
Yes. Okay, so then we come back to the Megazord fight. They're not doing just the Zord fight, I should say. They're not doing very well. It's one of those things where the concept is fine, but the execution is a little weird to me. Where he calls in Nate and he's like, wait a minute, my systems are almost back online. He knocked my systems offline, but it didn't destroy my Zord. And, could I maybe knock his systems offline without destroying it? And Nate's like, yeah, that'll work. I have no problem with any of that. And I thought, side note, I never noticed that his Zord has like sunglasses, like the Go Busters, like the same as on the Morphers and stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't notice that
Yeah,
either.
it's just a little thing, but it's a fun little design touch that
Oh,
continues.
awesome. Okay, good
So
catch.
thank you. So his plan is to disable it. So I thought he was gonna like do some kind of energy pulse or like an EMP bomb or some kind of thing like that. But he goes, no. Here's what I got to do to beat the shield and disable it without destroying it. I throw my sword, and then I push it into the shield harder, and then it. Oh, this is a close up. I did like this where he's getting hit with the saw and he took some damage over it.
Yeah.
But basically, his plan was I throw my sword and push it hard, and it gets to the shield. I don't know how he knew that would work, but it did. And he hits the Gigadrone kind of here, and that disables him. How would he know that? Why
Yeah.
did that work? I get what they're going for, but they could have
Yeah.
easily had a screen where he's like, Cruz, find out where his central processor is, and hit it in the shoulder. And if we go in at this speed, we'll get through the shield. Just something. Whereas it just seemed like I have an idea. Smash. It worked. Really?
I do like that he had the arm stuck in him. But I
No,
agree with
yes.
you where I'm like, I also don't like how the other beast bots were in no way involved in this part of the plan.
Right. Like maybe have one of them distract so he puts the shield up over there, and then the other one.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to throw at him, and all of his focus is going to be in front. You guys are going to flank around and then use your blasters at the same time.
Yeah.
And then when the shield's down, I'm going to grab my sword and do my finisher. Like,
That
so
would've been
many
great.
other options.
Because it was an opportunity where they want to show he's a good leader, he's thinking, he's figuring things out. So I get that. But the execution wasn't great. But the slicer cutting in and actually doing some damage and sticking there, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I think I missed a little bit of chat. Dolly Girl was saying, I'm having too much fun being in trouble in regards to encouraging you. And then Matt says, I think we can all tell Dolly Girl. Oh, I think we could all tell that Dolly Girl. But hey, at least someone isn't being affected by Evox this time. That's true. I actually, since the last episode, bought more RAM for my computer. I don't know if that's going to fix every problem, but it seems to have solved at least some of the Evox. I guess it's RAM, but really what it is, it's a defensive screen that I've put together with Nate Silva's help. I can't get into it too much. There's a little bit of more effects in my computer now. It works pretty good. Let's see. Oh, thank you for the host very much. Let me get your name right. Albert Treble 008. Hopefully I said that correctly. So thank you very much for that. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Thank you.
So I'm getting a little parched here. Excuse me. I have no water left in my cup.
My internet's connected by Ben, so that's why.
Oh, so it's a good thing we upgraded. So there you go. All right. So and it falls out, and then there's just some smoke coming off it, which is a very cool shot. This is the kind of thing like if I was a kid, I'd want a poster of that in my room. Well,
yeah.
Who am I kidding? I'd like a poster of that now. But I don't think it exists.
Yeah.
So then we cut to, once again, using the Zords for other than military purposes, other than fighting purposes, bringing the new Gamma model into the base. And again, that Gamma model is so cool. I would very much, even if it didn't have the attachment arms, I would like
anything.
It's so cool.
He goes with whatever.
Yeah, and maybe if Blaze gets a Zord eventually, it could just be a red, like, mutated version of that.
Or to have like armor add-ons, which is my favorite trope.
That's fine too. Let's see. Albert says, "You're welcome. You're at PMC Express. Hope to meet at the next PMC in Anaheim." I was at PMC Express. Were you there? I don't know if we met or not, or if you went. But yeah, when you say Anaheim, do you mean California, or because here's the thing. There's I assume you mean California. I was just in Texas. I have previously been in California. I live in California. So your chances of seeing me at a convention in California are much higher than anywhere else in the world. But I have traveled a few times to Florida, Texas, Chicago. If it's Power Rangers or Godzilla, those are my specialties when it comes to art. But regardless, yes, I hope to see you.
Thank you.
And so then she drops him down. And I don't know why, but I love this, where she's like, got it. It was just like, I don't know, a cute little moment that I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah, once again, Zord being used as a resource as opposed to just a fighting battle machine.
It's not just a gun. It's more than that.
Yep. It's a Swiss Army knife.
There you go. So we come in and once again establishing good scale. We look down on them. We look up at it, and they confirm that it's mostly intact and usable. So then here the general's like, "Good job, you got it all together." And he says something really weird. He's like, "But why does it seem like you just flushed your goldfish or something like that?" Some weird phrase that I've never heard.
Yeah, analogy that was odd.
Yeah, but basically we know it's because he's disappointed his father, and he's like, yeah, I did the right thing, but it cost me personal cost. Real quick, Matt Kendall says, if you notice the Zord is picking up the drone, the Giga drone there didn't have the saw attachment. At least I couldn't see it there. You are correct, and I noticed the same thing.
Yeah, because it was in
it was in the
red Zord's chest,
and then fell down.
I'm assuming it was two separate. Like maybe I could see it as the blue Zord taking it back, maybe because it was kind of like a big.
I could
truck.
assume that too. If they hadn't established that they're making a point of collecting everything, I would be like, oh, maybe that's going to show up later. But you could assume because of everything else they showed us in the episode that they probably got it.
At the very least, they'll destroy it.
I hope they don't. I hope that they keep it, and maybe when they get a Megazord and need power-ups, they don't come out of nowhere, but they come out of enemies they defeated, going back to my Mega Man idea. So that, like, the enemies they defeat give them Mega Man-style power-ups that match who they've beaten.
Yeah. I was at Anaheim PMC last year in 2018. It's my first con. Oh, we were both there.
Yeah.
Maybe we ran into you. Not sure, though. Have you watched all of Go Busters? We have not. I have seen the most Go Busters out of the two of us.
I've watched zero Ghostbusters.
The crossover movie with Corey Uger, and that's about it.
Yeah, I try not to. I mean, obviously there are fans of Sentai and Power Rangers, and I've seen more Power Rangers, but I do like Sentai. But I try not to look at the Sentai too closely when I'm watching Power Rangers because I don't want to spoil it for myself if I can help it. And obviously they change things, so it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. But even just knowing like, oh, this Zord shows up later, or this suit, like I try to as much as possible not pay attention to that when I'm watching an episode of Power Rangers. But yeah, like as you said, we were both at the last Power Morphicon. I was running my art table. He was helping me as well as enjoying it. I also cosplayed for about an hour one day as the Gold Samurai Ranger. So if you saw a Gold Samurai Ranger, that was me.
In Mega Mode.
In Mega Mode, yes, with the chrome armor because I don't have the body for spandex. But for armor, I could pull it off. So getting back to the episode, so yeah, he feels sad, and then Nate's like, well, let's get rid of all that other junk. Nuh-uh, we're not getting rid of that. Ben says we got a use for it. Oh, this is going to go well, of course. I love this shot. Once again, showing scale. And I love the trust between the two of them where she's like, yeah, here I am in a big hand. Here's my question. We know it's going to go bad, and it does go bad. He presses the wrong button or whatever, and it starts squishing her.
Yeah.
But what was supposed to happen? What were they trying to do? It's just a hand. What can it do other than this?
Fling her up in the air like a trampoline.
Which he later does and also goes bad. But you think what they were trying, if it went right, he was going to do this with her. That seems extremely dangerous.
It was all bad from the get-go. I have no good justification of what's going to happen.
Usually when they have these things, you know what they're trying to do and it goes wrong. This was just a weird case. And I don't mind the scene because it's a fun scene. But I did wonder what would have the good version been. So then he does flip her up like a trampoline. And luckily he catches her. Look at the dad's face. I didn't notice that before. But he's but Ben is like, he's confident. He's like, I got you. Don't worry.
He's so excited. He's like, oh, it did something.
And then he lands on her, and they're both like, I'm okay. And then the dad laughs, which gives everyone else permission to laugh.
Yeah.
Even Devin, who is sad that his father is disappointed in him, decides I can laugh at this for a moment.
Yeah, that was an odd little kind of bittersweet thing at the end.
Yeah. Well, his blood family is disappointed, but his adopted family thinks he's great. And so we move to the Riptide Gym, a.k.a. Ernie's place. And so we see people working out and doing martial arts, and he's on his phone, as we'd expect, and he's talking to his father, his awesome jerk father, who says, look at this. This is his jerkiest he's ever been. He says to him something like, how did you manage to get fired the first time? Oh, I wish I could remember the exact verbiage, because I kept repeating it after he said it. Because it was like, I'm very disappointed. Oh, I couldn't be more disappointed, or something to that effect. I couldn't be more. I was like, that's really harsh. That's, he doesn't know what's going on in his son's life, but like, I don't know. It's just like, I understand they're doing it because they want to set it up that like he's proud of the Red Ranger, but like, this is what I'm saying. I believe the mayor is a good character that wants what's best for the world, but he's kind of a jerk when the way he goes about doing it, It's
what adds insult to injury and me agreeing with you in this is he's like, you are so terrible. I couldn't be more disappointed. Pre-game over. So I love the Power Rangers.
Yeah, it was like 1 second before. And so then they're telling him, oh, sorry about your dad, whatever. And then there he is saying, oh, the Power Rangers are the best. And it was a little smug, stupid face. And then
Yeah.
they're like, "Look, your dad secretly loves you." And isn't that what every son wants to hear? Yes, secretly, without knowing it, I guess my dad thinks I'm good. And then gives
Yeah.
a smile. And he's a better person than me, because I'd be like, well, screw him. If he only likes me if I'm a superhero, then like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's unfair, but I can't, like, the dad. It's sort of like, again, he's probably a good mayor, but I just wouldn't want to spend any time with him. He just seems like a
Yeah.
very unpleasant person. And on
I'm
that,
hoping he grows on you more as the season goes on.
the,
And I'm
act,
hoping
the
Blue
actor
grows
has
on me.
the actor has grown on me, but the character has not.
Okay.
And it's interesting because usually we've been ending on a comedy bit. This time we had the comedy and we ended on more of a personal, emotional bit. And so that's the end of episode 5. So it's funny because we're so early, but it feels like we've gotten so far into it because there's been character development. We haven't got a Megazord, but the characters have been developing.
Mhm.
Like, that's so something we haven't seen in a few seasons.
And
I
the
love it.
stakes are pretty high on stuff so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, the thing that's often forgotten because of the pacing is the bad guys got a lot of Morphex.
Yes.
Like, a lot of it.
Well, no, but then they destroyed it. You think that was teleporting it straight to the virtual evil dimension? That's
Yep.
interesting. See, I took it as it was holding it in itself, and when they defeated it, they got it back. But you saw it as a transporter.
I definitely saw it going in as a transport. Like, I thought of it the same way that they use their key to teleport. I
Mhm.
thought it was an instant, like, go to the dark dimension thing.
Well, I guess we'll find out in the future. That's an interesting take. Big Banky says, I don't know how you guys watch the new cringe crap. Have you watched this season? Because this is definitely not cringe crap. The Neo Saban stuff, I could see how you might say that, and a lot of people would agree with you. I like watching all of it personally, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I just want to know it. Even if I don't like it, I want to have an informed opinion. But if you haven't checked out Beast Morphers, I recommend it. Start at the beginning. It's I don't know what seasons you like, but it holds up with some of the best seasons so far. So
Yeah, it's definitely in my
yeah.
top 10 easy.
Yeah, the only people I could see not liking this are people that are like Mighty Morphin purists, that like everything after Mighty Morphin is garbage. And like, I like Mighty Morphin, but Mighty Morphin is good because it was the first and it broke
It's
new
very
ground.
flawed in ways.
But if you watch it now, it's not there's a lot of problems with it, So let's see, Mighty Morphin to Lost Galaxy. There's a lot of
Okay.
solid seasons there. But I mean, did you not like any of the Disney stuff? Because I think Jungle Fury and RPM are some of the best seasons ever. So I don't know.
Well,
like I
I
said,
think this is easily better than Turbo already.
I have to agree, even though Selwyn is one of my favorite Rangers. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is better than Turbo. I hate to admit it. So yeah, if you've been out of it for a while and haven't watched since Lost Galaxy, this would also be a good jumping on point. Because they're acknowledging that the history exists, like they mentioned Rita and they mentioned Sledge, who is a Dino Charge character, but it's not teenagers in high school. It's like we were saying before, it kind of reminds us of Lightspeed Rescue, where it's a company and they have funding and the Rangers are sort of employees that work with the government, and so I don't know. If you haven't seen it, I'd say give it a shot. But, it's not for everybody. I'm not going to try to tell you what you like. But that is how I watch the new cringe crap, as you put it. But I
will say,
yeah.
In regards to the episode, I'd give it B, solid B.
I agree. Exactly a B. As I said, I think it's an average episode in a good season. It's definitely a filler episode, but in a good way. Usually filler episodes feel terrible. This had some character development with Devin and his dad, and we had some fun Zord stuff. And so even though it was filler, it didn't feel too much like filler. So I'm fine with that.
It felt like there was some gravitas to some of the things that went down.
Let's see. Big Banky says Jungle Fury, Mystic Force, Samurai are the only newer seasons I've watched. Mystic Force is one of 3 seasons I haven't seen, so I can't comment on that. Samurai, I won't defend as being good. I personally like it for sentimental reasons, but I wouldn't try to convince you that it's good. But
It's
Jungle
not
Fury,
great, in my opinion.
and that's fair. That's what most people think. So I said I admit to liking it, but I wouldn't try to convince you to like it. But Jungle Fury, I think is a great season. If you hate Jungle Fury, I'm not going to try to convince you to like it, but we just have different tastes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, Matt says, Big Banky Beast Morphers isn't even remotely close to dumpster trash. Samurai, Megaforce, and Ninja Steel definitely weren't the best, but I like Space, Galaxy, Time Force, Wild Force, Dino Thunder, Mystic Force, RPM, he goes on, and Jungle Fury was pretty good as well. So you got a few opinions here, and You don't have to like all Power Ranger. You don't have to like any Power Ranger. But if you're looking for if you're trying to find one to like, this is one worth trying. And if you've not seen RPM, I strongly recommend RPM. One of the top
RPM is
seasons.
awesome.
One of the top seasons of all times. But so that's it for this episode. I think we've covered all the news. Unless anybody had any questions, if you have anything else you want to know, I was at Power Morphicon, as I said. If you want to know anything else that maybe I didn't mention that maybe I could answer a question, maybe not, but I'm happy to answer anything about that, either live now or if you're watching it on YouTube later. Big Banky, I'll hop on Beast Morphers. Hey, it's also fun because give it a shot. I hope you like it. If not, no hard feelings. But it's also fun for me to be watching a current season that everybody's excited about. You see the toys in the store and you're watching that episode, and like it makes it fun that way. I mean, it can't be a terrible season, but it adds to the fun that we're all kind of on it together. Like seeing a new Avengers movie or something. It's always fun, but it's most fun when it's new and we're all in it together.
Yeah, when you're all learning together. Yeah, I agree.
Anything you want to throw out there, Big Dog, before we get going?
I'm looking forward to next week for sure.
Right.
And then actually one thing that I am looking forward to that ties into what Big Banky said on the Lightning line. Any new figures announced? Nothing announced yet, but I did put in my pre-orders for Zed and Goldar, which I'm very excited to get when I get. And I've heard in Canada the figures are starting to drop, and the in-hands look so awesome.
That's great.
I am so excited.
I'm very excited. Yeah, they didn't announce any new ones at Power Morphicon, but we do know the next ones that are going to be released are going to include Beast Morpher Red, Mighty Morphin Pink, and I think possibly some other Beast Morphers that have yet to been confirmed. And
maybe unsure.
Yeah, so nothing. There have been a few announced previously, but nothing new at Power Morphicon is the answer to that. I have them all on pre-order as well, and I'm excited for every single one of them. My only worry is I do like Tyler from Dino Charge, and I ordered that. And I would argue that Dino Charge is the best of the Neo Saban era. I'm not again saying that you should go watch it, Banky, but the Tyler, who is one of my favorite Red Rangers from that season. Anyway. His face sculpt, I don't think looks that much like Brennan Mejia. I think maybe it's because he's not smiling, and Brennan is always smiling. So I'm getting it, but I plan on keeping a lot of them with their helmet off. But with him, I might keep it on because I don't know. I gotta wait till I see it in hand. Let's see. Matt says, I like how long it's been that we haven't had the Megazord yet. Agreed. The buildup is awesome. Big Banky, need that Leanbow figure. Leanbow.
That's a Mystic Force Wolf Knight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, again, I haven't seen Mystic Force, but that I will buy.
Such a good design.
Yeah, he's like the purple wolf armor looking guy. Yeah, I will absolutely get that because eventually I'll watch the season. I think it's a cool figure.
He's awesome.
He is, and I'm a sucker for wolf stuff. I'm a big fan of the animal of a wolf, so anything wolf, I'm on board. Matt said, I think they're going for the latest Megazord debut ever this season. I'm fine with that. I also heard a rumor that after episode 8, they're going to take another break. I don't know if that's true, but we'll keep that in mind. If they do, we'll see. Maybe we could talk about something else those episodes because we do this once a week, which actually I guess brings me to my closing spiel. Yeah. We do this on Twitch every Monday at 5. Usually we go till about 6, maybe 6:30. Today we went till 7, which is longer because I had a lot to talk about with Power Morphicon and a few other things more than we normally do. But you could plan on it being at least an hour, and then later today / early tomorrow it'll go up on YouTube, and you can watch it there as well. So I want to thank everybody that has come and watched, chatted, people that hosted, people that are lurking, people watching it on YouTube later. It's been a good time as always, and feel free to throw questions, feel free to throw suggestions, things you'd like to see. And behind the scenes, we're working on some production stuff to hopefully make the show even better, but I don't want to get into that until it's ready. Big Banky, any chance for new guests? Guests on the on our show or on Power Rangers? Or at Power
Rangers? I think on our show.
Well, let's wait and see. On our show, if you mean like celebrity guests, as of now, no. Although I won't say impossible. The answer is no, but not impossible as it maybe used to be. The bigger one, I'd love to show you. Oh, well, right now one of the problems is technically I'm new to all this, and so I just bought some more RAM for my computer, and it's taxing it to the limit to have what we have going on now with me and him and the visuals and everything else. I don't know if I could put a third person in without crashing my computer. So I'm probably not going to be doing that. But if I had a chance to
Yeah.
get a Ranger celebrity on, I would move heaven and earth to find a way to do it. Or I might be like, sorry, Bigdawg, maybe you'll tap out on this one and I'll tap out on the next one, or we'd figure some way to do
Or
it.
if anything, I'd just go to your house.
Oh, that would work too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
your question was essentially, can you be on the show? The short answer is, unfortunately, no. If we had an opportunity to get a celebrity on, I would try to find a way to make it work. So let's see. Dolly Girl, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, Dolly Girl. Big Bang. Yeah, right now the best way to be on the show is just to join and chat. And like I said, if you have suggestions for the show, feel free to throw them in. And, if we can make it work, it will. Oh, brother, I could walk you through that and kick your setup into overdrive. That's a good way to end it. We can maybe talk again about it next time, but it is getting late, and this Gazbot Knight needs to eat some pizza. So for me and for the Bigdawg, for all of you, we're going to say goodbye until next week, but may the power protect you.
See you guys later.
Bye.